strapped in.
Fully strapped in. All right, welcome, greetings.
What?
Here's a new show coming right at your face.
What's up, everybody? This is the History Sesh.
I am Matt.
My name is Richie.
And we're joined by a guest who...
Very special guest.
Would like to... Yeah.
Yeah,
would like
he
to
would like to remain... do you want to, introduce yourself?
Yeah, let's just say, I'm a grad student at an R1 university. I'm studying for a PhD in history. And I think that's about as much as you really need to know.
Yeah, for sure.
I am very excited for this. Number one.
I thought you were going to give your credentials, dude.
Yeah. I'm the CEO of this business, the podcast.
The podcast that we do?
I'm not. I was going to say I'm very excited about this. One of my favorite things to listen to while I'm at work is a podcast called Hardcore History, and it's by this dude named Dan Carlin. I don't think he has I don't know how actually educated he is, but great stuff. And I'm thankful for you for making the trip out here, because it's kind of a
our special guest came a long way just to be on this podcast.
Painted like that, hard hitting, very high class.
I'm super happy to be here with you boys. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller of your other podcasts, and yes. I was stoked when I got the call, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
It's a very intellectual podcast.
For sure.
Yeah, and we had people reach out to him to arrange.
Yeah, we had our people.
That's right.
We have people.
And a lovely studio you have here as well, I must say.
Dude.
The parking attendant was a little awkward.
He'll be fired.
Well, that's
but I think that's a building. That's not
he'll be fired.
That's not.
Well, no, that is the guy that watches us through the window.
I will make sure he's fired. Dave will hear about this.
Dave will hear about this.
Don't fire the guy. He just works for the building. There's other offices here.
Dave just texted me exactly what you just said, actually. Wow.
Word
Dave
for word.
is such a nice guy.
He's not your employee to fire, luckily. He was fine.
Yeah.
Just a little awkward.
Okay, that's good.
But the receptionist, great person.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
They seem like a lovely person.
Did I do that correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, shall we jump in?
Yeah, I think we could jump in.
Do you want to explain the this episode?
Yeah, I think for this episode, you guys just told me come in with whatever you want to talk about, and really what I want to talk about is something that is kind of fresh for me. So it didn't take a lot of additional work to have information to bring to you guys. But I think a good place, what we are going to talk about is really what has been a misunderstanding for the last 534 years. I just did that math really quickly.
Right, yeah.
From 1492.
Okay. Oh, that's correct math as well.
I would never have been able to do that.
Me neither. Or guess that was correct.
I don't know if it is actually. Somebody do that math.
Do that math real quick.
It's a huge misconception of what the Americas, specifically what is now understood to be Latin America, was like during or before 1492 with Christopher Columbus, during the conquest, and subsequently after that. It has become this way because really one group has dominated the narrative for a very, very long time. Historians, archaeologists, anthropologists have now it's been 30, 40 years, but the public is very slow to understand sort of these things. But in intellectual circles, these talks have already been happening for a long time. But there still are a ton of misconceptions about Latin America in general. And so that's what we will be talking about today, starting with, of course, what we know about the quote-unquote Aztecs, Christopher Columbus, quote-unquote the conquest of the Americas, and hopefully you boys learn something. So what I wanted to start with first was getting your take, or first with what you were taught in school versus what you have sort of learned over time on your own, and I think we can go from there.
Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah. That is.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have a very unique take because until freshman year, I was homeschooled. This shit wasn't even taught to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And most North America history was relegated to America. You know, the history of the country of America, not North America, the continent. We didn't talk about Native Americans or anything.
Right.
You know,
right.
very, very little did we talk about it.
Okay.
In homeschool.
Yeah.
And then in high school was when, you get a more proper teaching. But even then, it's
world history type of thing.
Yeah. Even then, it's mostly just the settlers came here, or the colonialists. You know, they got here, they settled shit. That's about it. That's all you need to know.
And it's California history, and so there is some indigenous stuff. There is the understanding of the African slave trade. Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, they mentioned Haiti because it's the slave revolution. They mentioned probably the Mexican Revolution and independence, and besides that, everything sort of south of what we understand to be the U.S. is usually not talked about.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say that I would have I don't know, I don't really remember what I was taught in terms of that, but I do know just from cultural osmosis, I learned that story through honestly probably El Dorado.
Okay. Yeah.
That's probably the main thing where it's they convinced these native people that they're gods, and the whole also Apocalypto, where it's Mel Gibson.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Which I've learned is incredibly inaccurate, in every way.
Yes, I've also learned that. That's what I was gonna say too. A lot of my other more recent understanding about history, North American, South American, Central, all of it is from just watching my own YouTube videos. I'm very excited for the ancient alien theories to start for you to get into that.
And the ancient aliens, they factor heavily in this history. No, I'm kidding. But let's for sure.
We actually base our teachings on.
Yeah, when you go to R1 University in California, what you're gonna learn is ancient aliens.
Ancient aliens got a lot.
Actually, Kukulkan is not a god. It's actually a space shuttle.
Well, in academic circles, we call it the ancient astronaut theory. Okay, so let's start with what do we actually know or think we know about Christopher Columbus, the guy, and his accolades.
Well, I know he's
and it's not a quiz, so just say just say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's Italian, and everyone told him no until Spain was finally fine, whatever. And then he came over here and he landed in a Caribbean island, but I don't know what specifically.
Yeah,
Hispaniola.
I do know that he landed
modern
on
day
some
Cuba.
island. Yeah.
Okay, is it Cuba? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe that there were some Native Americans that they met there, and there's this big misconception that they were worshipped as gods.
Yeah.
And one
upon
clip that I remember is Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of maybe inadvertently lending credence to that notion by being well, they understood the movements of the stars as Europeans, so he kind of tries to make it sound like they predicted a eclipse, and it's okay, maybe they did, but I don't really think that they actually were worshiping Christopher Columbus as a god. Thank you to the sponsor Dave for that break. As I was saying though,
yeah, I use that product every day.
I don't think that he actually was worshipped as a freaking god or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to talk about too much about, Christopher Columbus. We're not going to go point by point on his life and whatnot. But yeah, he was, for lack of a better word, not to be derogatory, an Italian, Genoese to be specific, which is like a type of Italian, I believe.
Yeah.
He was trying to get his project off the ground for a very, very long time. Everybody was not convinced. Spain, seeing that Portugal had already had a huge handle on the African coast, thought, hey, you know what? This is a huge gamble, but let's send it. And
they were hoping to get around to India, right?
Yeah.
So they thought they were just thinking it's open ocean straight there.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why they called them Indians.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they thought they landed in India.
The East Indies.
Yeah. Right.
That's what they thought.
Right. So they really were just looking for a better route out there instead of having to go around the Cape of Africa. That coast, and that Cape had taken them several hundred years to cross for a bunch of reasons. For technology, just the boats weren't good enough, but also the science, like understanding of how to navigate, wasn't good enough. And so finally, when they made that trip, I'm not sure who exactly did it, probably like Marco Polo or something, one of those dudes. Was the boats, the boats were finally good enough to sort of make that trip. Yeah. The only thing left though was they needed a better understanding of how to go across the Atlantic, because when you're traveling on the sea, true north, when you're going, the idea of north on a compass is not true north on the sea, and I don't understand like the mechanics of it, but it just doesn't work right, and so it's a huge gamble. There was people before Columbus that had tried it.
Fields.
Yeah, the magnetic. Oh, how do they work? There was other people that tried it, and they've sort of disappeared.
So that's why you would need.
Dead.
Is that why you would need someone who's like a very good cartographer, but then on top of that, you need like a good fucking
celestial navigator.
That specifically, and they needed this instrument, which I'm forgetting what it's called, but it's a specific device that helps them use the stars to navigate much more accurately.
It's like that little
so instead of a sundial
mechanism with like a. Does it have a eyeglass piece?
Now you're thinking of pirates.
I'm not sure. I mean, this like immediately after this is the golden age of piracy.
No, straight up.
Actually, we call it privateers.
Privateers, and it actually only lasted 8 years. It didn't last that long.
Yeah.
But so all of these things sort of converge. A lot of these things converge at the same time. He convinces Columbus, of course, convinces the Spanish monarchs to pay for his mission, his quest to go out there.
I do think I have something in my brain. Is Christopher Columbus responsible for Europe getting syphilis?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, probably.
Because it originated in North America, or like what?
It was new. It was
just like a new thing that
it was
actually
it was a virgin pandemic in Europe, actually. So we normally understand like a virgin epidemic as like something that happened in the
just kind of like
in Latin America or like North America, like destroying indigenous communities, right? Okay. But there was a reverse one early on, and it was syphilis. I mean, not everybody knows exactly where it came from, but that's one of the theories.
Right.
Because it wasn't necessarily
he was going in so many different places.
Yeah. Well, he only made the trip, I think, 3 times.
Okay, I thought he was like some fucking navigator dude that was like
No.
I think he was more of like a financier kind of thing.
He was just
like
more
like a money guy.
He was a rich asshole.
But also kind of, he wasn't. He did come for money, but he was just trying to make his way. You know what I mean? But he also was sort of like, not the best at navigating, like not necessarily the best captain of a ship.
Right. That's why he had to build a team. I do remember he had to get different people.
I mean, credit where credit's due. You know what I mean? I'm sure that
Avengers,
shit was
but like the
nasty.
worst Avengers you can think of.
We're trying to cross that
We're trying to destroy
boys.
an entire continent's culture. You guys down or what?
Well, they didn't know it was out. They didn't know what was out there, right?
Yeah, no.
No, they're just trying to cross.
Yeah.
A big.
Let's find out the best way to get there for.
Yeah, they were all about
the crown,
the money.
Yeah.
For the crown, right? And that's another thing that you have to understand too about the people of the time. They were operating for essentially three things, the 3 Gs as they call them.
Gold, glory, guys.
Guys.
I
Oh
do
my
it for the
god!
guys.
I do it for the guys.
Christopher Columbus and his boys.
Gold, glory,
God-
and gluttony.
And God.
God, glory, and gold.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
They did it for
Yeah.
three things,
Hell yeah.
and
Can I hit that?
all of these things were tied with the religion, but also with the way
The
that they
monarchy,
did government.
and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their understanding
Well,
of
yeah,
how
because
society
they-
because
they-
it was
It was divine right.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had divine right
Divinely
to rule
appointed
over the
rule,
people.
yeah. that. So if you do it for
it's my right to go to a different place and just do that to people who don't even fucking know me, dog. Hell
yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. Because if you do it for country, you do it for God.
Right. That's the same deal.
And if you do it for God, you do it for country.
That's right.
Right.
Same guy.
And the king.
I definitely would be wrapped up in that shit if I was like.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the only
I'd
way
be
to-
like
that's the only way to make
I'd be
money,
like
yeah.
a 12th century serf, dude. I'd be like, reload.
I mean, if you weren't sending it going across the Atlantic, you probably were just bumming it,
No,
being poor as fuck.
I think we talked about this before. I would be one of the ones that died because I got bit by a rat
Yeah. On the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
On the way
alright.
there.
on the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
I'm
And
first to go.
I would
Oh,
definitely
look at
just
this
be
rat.
some.
yeah.
Oh, he
said he's cute. Yeah, he's
cute, ain't he?
Oh, he just nibbled my finger.
Oh,
Dies
that's the plague,
that
boys.
night. Dies that night.
Boys,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
gotten the plague.
Yeah, I got in the plague.
Yeah,
I've
you
got
gotta-
a spot of plague, have I?
Buried at sea. We
Yeah.
make a song about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a sea shanty.
I feel like my ending was like, in a past life, I was some sailor, and
What?
it was like a freak accident where like a hook, like attached to a sail or something, like
Mm,
came loose, and
yeah.
it like
I actually
it was pulverized.
I actually
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I remember this conversation because
Yeah.
you're like, well, we're like my lineage. I could have just been a Viking.
True,
doing
true,
Viking shit.
true.
And,
Because I got a little bit of Norwegian in me.
And I was like, yeah, and I would be like somewhere in Mexico, but and there is like civilized life happening because I was. This is something that I also know that how Apocalypto's wrong. It's just that they had sprawling cities in Mesoamerica, and they like spanned, these big areas. So there
Yeah.
were like cities.
Oh, because they had tribes in the movie, like out
They
in the
had, like,
jungle.
yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
like not really how
Right,
it worked.
right.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
at the time that they're depicting.
Yeah, right
You know.
before, literally, fucking in the time span of the humans, the minutes before the
Yeah,
fucking the Spanish
exactly.
got there.
Yeah. I was like, even though that's happening, even though there are cities, I would get bit by a spider in the forest and die
Yeah, dog.
as like a 12-year-old.
It's mostly forest. I mean, it's mostly rainforest. Like,
It's mostly rainforest.
even now, the Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that
for
whole
sure.
area is
Yeah.
mostly rainforest.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of cities.
The other thing
but-
though I want to come back to is the way your end is literally verse number 2 on the Highwayman. I knew it was. I was like,
okay.
this is. I'm pretty sure somebody's saying this. I think it was. I want to say it was. Oh my God, Whistler. What is his name?
Whistler from Blade?
Yep,
Yeah, Whistler from
Blade. Chris Christopherson.
I think it's Christopherson's verse. I think it's Christopherson's verse. This is what he says, and I can't sing like him, so I'm not gonna try. Maybe I will try. No, I'm not gonna try. He says, "I was a sailor. I was born upon the tide, and with the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn to Mexico. I went aloft and furled the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed. But I am living still." You know what I'm saying? It's the Highwayman. You know the song? You don't know the song?
Why did I?
Brother.
I'm not aware.
Brother.
I just get chills from that. That's fucking.
Brother,
sick.
there's not that much, like
What
white
did it say?
culture that you could be proud
There's
of.
not that much white culture
Right,
that you can be
It's
proud of.
Christian, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And this
yeah.
is like one of the ones, and it's like, brother, you gotta
Yeah.
learn this.
Interesting.
For sure. Yeah, different type of history that he's
Is-
teaching
is-
right
is
now,
this,
bro.
What is it? What is
It's
it?
a song.
It's a
It's
song.
a super
It's a
group.
country
It's a
song.
country super group.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a dude. Imagine.
I'm sure
yeah.
that
So
I've
you
heard
talked
this
about the
song.
Avengers earlier. We're talking
Yeah.
about the country Avengers, bro.
Okay.
Johnny
country
Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Willie Nelson, Chris
Ah,
Christopherson.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They came through.
Fuego.
I remember you showing me
Okay.
the video for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm unaware. I've never heard of it. But I was only in the country for like a very short period of time as a kid, and then I was like,
Cringe.
Cringe.
rock is way cooler.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to like Breaking Benjamin or something.
Right.
Some lame shit.
Waylon Jennings. It's the fourth guy that I always forget.
Waylon Jennings.
Good old Waylon.
And like I know all these names, like
Yeah.
Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. I'm
Of course.
very very familiar. But like
Yeah,
the other
superstars,
people,
bro,
I know
superstars.
them, but I'm like
Yeah.
I don't know a song. I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
name a song.
By the way, Whistler, of course, from the Blade franchise, is Chris Christopherson, R.I.P.
Yeah, we're talking about that in the Blade movies that we just watched. Subtle plug.
Yeah.
In what? What did you watch that in?
We did the Blade movies in previous episodes.
Yeah.
of
An episode each.
The podcast.
We dweebs.
What is the podcast called?
That was
this
called
is
We Dweebs.
That was the We Dweebs podcast. We just recorded 3 episodes of Blade.
Yeah, we watched Blade. It was pretty.
For our audio only listeners, I was trying to get them to like plug
Do
what
an
it's
actual
actually
plug.
called.
yeah.
Oh,
Right.
for the visual viewers.
For the visual viewers.
Right.
I mean, the audio only didn't see it happen. You know what I'm saying?
But
the visual viewers
But the visual viewers saw it.
They visually, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
they didn't
right.
have to get.
Yeah.
That was a joke for them.
Right. Right.
Okay, let's get back on track here. So, this guy, he probably did, infect Europe with syphilis. Probably. I'm gonna say yes. I want to say yes.
I'm just gonna say yes.
That's
I'm gonna say yes.
hilarious.
Yeah.
The one thing that I do know, or that I will put my money on, he, as soon as he showed up, basically 1492, he like set up chickens to be like the next fucking thing. Chickens, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
know
don't
that
think
they
it's like it's a big
weren't,
thing, but like
native, right?
no, dude.
And same with hogs.
the thing is, like,
Pigs were not
within
native.
20 years, so like all the other animals, everything proliferated. However, chickens proliferated so fucking fast. Within 20 years, people were showing up to like settle at a place, and the Indians were bringing the indigenous people were bringing people. Chickens. They brought people along with them that brought chickens.
Yeah.
To trade, bro.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
they were already there, like.
And that just shows you, like, holy fuck, how can like, dude, that means that like 2 chickens got out.
Bro, it's because he brought hella chickens.
He
with
brought
him.
hella chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And-
but, like,
and-
to
assuming
survive.
that they
Holy
kept
shit.
all of the chickens in enclosures and everything, all
Sure.
it took was 2 fucking chickens.
That's
in
true
there,
for them
bro.
to. Yeah, true.
And then those 2
You
chickens
think-
found each other.
You think they had
And they
a
started
you think they had a
fucking,
whole boat to themselves? Like a
No.
whole lower deck?
Nah.
Nah, but it would have been like a sizable,
Nah.
over 20.
If we want to talk
right?
about that really, really quick, bro, they was so nasty to be on these boats, bro.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
no, I
so
believe
so
that.
nasty
Yeah.
to be on these boats. Like
I'm
people
aware of
were
this.
just it was just awful. Like everyone got
Screw
yeah, right.
Mhm.
Vitamin C.
If
deficiency.
you wasn't that more like if you were a long time sailor, like if you're going back and forth all the
Long
fucking
time
time.
sailor, first
Yeah,
time
but I think
caller.
I think like the first people that were like I'm gonna go settle, like they weren't necessarily doing that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they probably got it
Yeah.
worse.
Well, and like
they're not used to that shit.
For people who don't know, scurvy is when you, like you said, vitamin C, you don't get enough, and mostly it's because you can't eat fruit, bro.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's
and
hard
it-
to keep fruit on
It's
fucking
like
shit for a couple
the symptoms
months.
of it are
I'm the
so
guy to
gross. But like the one that got me was like the gums get so infected and inflamed that they grow over the teeth,
Yes.
and then you can't eat because you can't use your fucking teeth because your gums have
That's
grown over
gross.
them.
That's
Mm.
gross. I can throw up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that shit happened
that's
actually to the first people that made the loop to the Pacific and back across the Pacific, because the Pacific Ocean is a whole other beast, bro.
Right.
The Atlantic
Right.
was hard, the Pacific
Yeah.
was fucking awful.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, he brought chickens right away. He sets up what is now known as a Columbian exchange, right? And it's an exchange
I have
of
heard of that.
foods, is normally what people think about it, but also cultures, specifically religion and language. And so they're bringing the European way
Yeah.
to Latin America.
Right.
And from there on out, they set up these misconceptions of what the original people that they encountered there were,
Right.
who they were, and what they were doing.
Well, yeah. Like obviously, they show up and they're like, "Guys, we got there," and they they like kneeled before us. they saw that we were white skinned and said, "Wow, y'all are the sun."
Well, I know a lot of. I want to say that I've heard. Basically, they really wanted to hammer back home that, like, oh yeah, these people saw our crosses and they immediately were like, oh, we love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
When really it was like, these guys were like, I don't know what the fuck that thing is.
Yeah, it's a lack of translation.
Yeah.
On both sides, and we'll get to that. So let's fast forward a couple dozen, maybe less than that, like a decade, because the initial explorations, the voyages, happen relatively quickly from each other. The years are sort of arbitrary to understand, but basically, almost right after Christopher Columbus first shows up in 1492, he shows up, spots it, probably has sex with a ton of the indigenous women there, maybe some of the boys. You know what I'm saying? They were getting down.
Well, yeah, the 3 Gs.
The 3 Gs.
Yeah.
The guys.
That's the
God.
Oh, the
Glory
guys, right?
And
right.
guys.
And guys.
Right.
So yeah, he goes back, with his stank dick. Probably gives it to his wife. Probably gives it to the mistress. Probably. But he does that. He also checks in and says like, yeah, we found the thing, and but it's not what we thought it was. It's not the Indias, but it's also probably better because it's a whole untapped resource of people that we need to save for one of the Gs.
Yep.
And of actual natural resources that we can exploit for the 2 of the other Gs. And so people just start popping off, just showing up.
Okay.
Mostly the Spanish, but there is an agreement with the Portuguese, as you may know, about how they're going to split the world because they're both after the same thing.
Yeah,
I do know about that. Yeah.
So the Pope intervenes and says, we gotta sort of work together on this project.
We gotta let the other guys in.
We gotta.
So is that how places
go
like
that
France
way.
and the United Kingdom, not the United Kingdom at the time, but
how they got
is
North
that
America?
how they got like involved in it? Is because the Catholic Church came through and was like, well, we gotta let the other fellas in.
No,
Because that means they could spread.
They were only talking about south of like essentially what the equator is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But also a little bit north. It's very, very arbitrary because it all comes down to establishing your colonial domain, and it just means like showing up and claiming it.
Yeah.
I believe I remember now. It was the Dutch who found like Canada, and that's how like isn't that like how the North America was more well known at that point? Was they were like
no the French are up there, so the English sort of take North America. The French also quickly get up to North America, but they realize that
France. Canada.
Yeah, a quick rundown on colonization. The French realize that the English are on the coast, and so they sort of set up things inside, and that's why they have all of the inside of the United States right now.
Becomes the
and
Louisiana Purchase. And
exactly,
right.
And also Canada, and that's why you get like French Canadian people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quebecois.
So think of the U.S. right, and it's because I'm just trying to orient the audience here.
You're right.
So like the Louisiana
Picture
Purchase, picture this. The Louisiana Purchase, like the Mississippi River, sort of divides that on the west side. Everything on the east is being contested by the Spanish and the English, but the English already have set up, Plymouth Rock, north the North England, like Maryland area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nova Scotia almost, but they're like battling with the French up there.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Spanish they already showed up at Hispaniola. They know that part. That quickly, what is now Cuba, that quickly becomes a launch point for all of the other expeditions into Latin America and north to North America. So from there, it's super close to Florida, as you probably know. It's like 60 miles or something like that.
Yeah.
They go to Florida. They take Florida. There's a Spanish Florida for a little while.
Yeah.
They're butting heads with the English, after several decades.
Bro, no way they're putting
I
civilization in
stuff.
real life, dude.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
I do know about the struggles for Florida between the British and the Spanish. I know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the French too are Louisiana Purchase area.
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then fucking Texas, New Mexico, California, Oregon, Washington. All of that also becomes Spanish domain.
Yeah.
Right.
After several decades of conquest, quote unquote, and exploration.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So then to go back to the Catholic Church part, they're talking about just Spain and Portugal. And are they splitting up like Central and South America? Like
They're splitting up what they're finding, or what they
yeah.
thought they found.
Got you.
And they haven't necessarily made their foreway to North America yet.
Right.
At the same time, New England is seeing what they're doing. Not New England. England is seeing what they're doing, and they're saying, let's also go, but let's do it on our parallel.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's why that side is colonized by these people, and then over here on the other end,
It's a whole different.
they're kind of going in the opposite direction.
Exactly. They're just sort of they keep sending their little scout to go back to your civ. They keep sending their little scout, and they see that it's more and more land, mountains and shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to climb, but there's more and more land. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
They just keep sending it, and but
God,
they keep finding.
I mean, this is where I wish that I had like Civ knowledge so that I could start saying the fucking voice lines, because I know there's gotta be some. But I just know like Halo Wars. It's like
they don't say real words.
oh,
Like the
it's like Simlish. Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
Actually,
It's
no.
like
I think I
that
want to see on the new
complete-
stuff. They do say things now.
Oh, you know what? Like since like 6.
I feel like people were talking to me.
Think about the old one.
Yeah, and they were mad. They were
Six
real
makes
mad.
sense.
They didn't like that I was like nuking other people.
Yeah. No, for sure. I go for total domination.
And that's how I work, and that's what they
were also
did.
doing.
That's for sure.
But no, they were going for the 3Gs,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
They were going for the 3Gs, and the understanding was with the Pope that they were going in to essentially harvest the souls for Big G up top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make sure that those indigenous
that's
people
priority
could
number
become
one.
Christians. That was the one with the thing that they wanted to do, and they already had a historical understanding of converting non-Christians into Christendom.
Right. Yeah.
And so they sort of just reapplied that. That had happened for centuries now.
Damn.
Spanish Inquisition.
Why is there so much history?
Whoa, everything's connected.
Dude, there's so much lore.
Yeah, bro. The lore goes deep. The lore goes
Yeah.
deep. Yeah, the Spanish had just got done kicking out all the Muslims essentially,
Right.
and converting the ones that stayed.
Yeah.
You'd be astounded how many people don't know that Spain was under Muslim control for a very long period of time.
And that it wasn't a single entity.
Yes. Yes.
They had to. There was 5 crowns. They had to come together, Game of Thrones style, to fight off the White Walkers.
Yep.
Except the White Walkers were brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were going south. They started in the sort of like north of what Spain is now, and then moved south from there.
Right.
And they set up the Spanish Inquisition in order to enforce the Catholic orthodoxy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So now
That's crazy.
the conquistadors, the quote unquote conquistadors, are vying for essentially contracts. They are venture capitalists, if you would like to think of them that way.
mercenary groups, right?
Yeah. They are dudes
hired
that sort
on
of
behalf of some
They know a dude that knows other dudes.
royalty or something,
Yeah.
right?
He's really good at this thing, and we're going to, he could get it done.
He'll get it done.
My guy has a boat.
Yeah.
My other guy's got hella food.
4,000 guns.
My guy's got food, guns.
You
Yes.
assemble a team.
You assemble a team.
The worst team.
The worst team that I can fucking think of.
The most like hand-writhing, mustache twirling, comically evil.
So going back to Apocalypto, right? That after he runs away, the main protagonist runs away for several days, and he finally makes it to the beach, and the chase stops, and he looks out into the horizon, and he sees the 3 ships.
Yeah.
Right. I'm assuming the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Which is
sangria.
is one of those
Nachos, lemonades, my dad's boat.
You won't go down because my dick can float.
And if that is the implication with those 3 boats, isn't that another bit of like, oh, that's inaccurate?
I mean, potentially, but they could have been on Hispaniola the whole time. Yeah. But I don't think so. Yeah, that it would be inaccurate. But
I think they call them.
But
the
maybe,
Aztec,
but maybe it's
right?
not them.
Yeah, and it's like.
No, I think they're supposed to be Mayans.
Are there
The ones that are
ziggurats on Cuba?
sacrificing people?
Those are supposed to be Mayans.
Those are supposed to be mine.
Yeah.
Are there ziggurats on Cuba? Like pyramids?
Nah, you're right. You're right.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So yeah, I mean, let's
Let's
say that they are. Let's say that
But
they
that's
aren't.
only if they
Right.
are.
I mean,
But
Give
my,
them the
my
benefit
point
of the doubt.
was my point was gonna be that when you see them and you see their soldiers come out, they're all sort of wearing a uniform. If you look at them, the first guy, if he's Hernan Cortez, Hernando actually, I learned that recently, Hernando Cortez, because it was Spanish. Remember?
Was there people? Did people show up?
Yeah, they're like sort of
I'm
like
sure, like in a boat.
they're like being rowed, onto the shore. Yeah.
In the movie.
In the movie.
Yeah.
And there's one dude like up front. Yeah.
I thought you were being like, wait, lore drop, humans existed?
At this point of time, humans existed.
Hold on.
Hold on,
I
white
swore that
humans.
they were just conceptual.
Hold on, white humans? Because that's another thing, too. That's very, very specifically, the dude is almost like redhead, like beard. Like blonde, but like redheaded beard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all of his homies are all sort of dressed the same. That is another misconception. These people were, like you said, the worst Avengers ever. And they all came and they all brought their own shit. And
like kind of just like their like BYOG, bring your own gear.
Bring your own gear expedition, and we're gonna split up what we find based off of how much you bring to the team.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like Iron Man would be like basically taking everything
He's
because
right,
he's supplying
right,
everything.
right,
Like 90% of the spoils would go to him. He's like, I made the suits,
which
you know
would be
what I'm
like
saying?
the captain and in the hierarchy of things.
Whoever's
probably,
like paying, paying for like the initial stuff to come.
Like
he's
definitely
definitely
set up the He gets the most shit.
They are definitely making the biggest.
But I mean,
biggest cut.
if you're Hawkeye, it's like, oh well, you brought a bow, bro. So
hey, you brought your own weapon though.
You brought your own weapon,
and that
so
entitles you to more than the guy that didn't bring nothing.
You know
you
what will
brought
allow
your
you
weapon,
to do,
you
buddy?
can keep anything you kill.
Yeah.
Or just
like anything.
You could take one of the women and then just like take it back home.
There's
and
definitely
put it in
gonna
a
be
zoo.
spoils. There's definitely gonna be definitely gonna be women involved. There's definitely gonna be gold involved. There's definitely gonna be land involved.
If you survive.
For some of the people that bring the biggest stuff, we're talking encomiendas. We're talking like now you're getting like your own fucking kingdom essentially.
Right.
Oh
You know what I'm
yes, I've
saying?
heard about this as well. If you did exceptionally well, they'd like.
Not
yeah,
merit
we'll give you some
necessarily,
land, bro.
Yeah.
Not
We'll give
necessarily
you some
merit,
land,
like
and
fucking.
We'll give you a title, like sir, like you're a knight, or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, there was some spoil, right? And everybody is amped for that type
Kind
of
of
stuff.
hoping to get that prize,
Right.
which
That's
is
it.
probably what fed into a lot of brutality, I would assume.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
like,
where it's
well, I
like,
gotta get.
I have to be on
Yeah.
top. I have to
Mhm.
do whatever it
And
takes
if the
to get
people are
this.
afraid of me, then I can just take what I want.
Yeah.
Other things too, though, like the understanding that like these aren't Christians, they're not, maybe
Oh,
maybe
they're a
not
little
people,
disposable.
maybe like less than maybe
they
like
would be less than people.
not
Yeah.
fully people, maybe not less than people, but not fully people.
But that's probably
Right.
where you get the terms of like, oh, well, they're savages. Like,
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You know.
And the biggest one that they go back to, and they started immediately because when they showed up in Hispaniola, they encounter Columbus and like the crew that he brings to the next voyage. They encounter essentially two groups of people on that island. One is the Caribs, one is the Tainos, and the Tainos are friendly. The Caribs are not. The Caribs are straight up like, I don't know you. I'm gonna treat you the same way that I treat everybody.
Caribbean? Is that where we get
Yeah,
that?
exactly. That's also where we get cannibal.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
And now that makes me think that
Actually, I might have made that up.
the
Disclaimer.
this is how it would make sense in my brain. They show up, these people are friendly, those people are not. They're going to make propaganda against them.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
Cannibals.
Yeah.
There's
Cannibals
yeah.
out there.
there's no evidence except for basically the witness testimony.
Yeah.
What the guys were writing.
Right.
And what we should
And
know
that's
about
a little like, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right,
What we should know about
right,
what
right.
the guys were writing is that they were encountering problem after problem along their way. All of the dudes, but like the ones that we normally think about are like Hernando Cortez, and oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. He did the Incas. We'll come back to him.
Yeah. Good old Jones. That's
Jones
placeholder
Johnson.
name.
Yeah.
Placeholder
I'm
name.
gonna feel
The
so fucking
Spanish
dumb.
Conquistadors.
Pizarro.
Jones.
Oh, before it came up, I remembered. So
Pizarro?
fuck you. Francisco Pizarro.
Okay.
He's the other like big guy.
You just
Okay.
flip off Google.
Yeah.
Also, my slow typing skills. I'm thinking about it the whole time. Yeah, he's the other like big conquistador that's known for like the Incan Empire. There was like two really big powerhouses at the time imagine.
So the Incans were still around at this point?
Yeah, at this point they were
Really?
still around. So
I wasn't aware of that.
they were a
I
powerhouse
always kind
for
of
a
understood
long,
it as like
long
the
time.
Toltecs, like the Toltecs were long gone before settlers got here.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of civilizations beforehand. So, but in like 1491, before Europeans show up to to quote Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, to disrupt the hierarchy of power,
Right.
in the DCEU.
Can you smell what the Spanish are cooking?
Exactly.
We're cooking syphilis.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? They had no protection against it. You can't blame them.
Yeah, dude.
yeah.
No,
You
they
can't
didn't.
blame them.
So if you ever
Yeah.
caught syphilis, now you know who to blame. Those goddamn Italians. Sorry, I'm trying
Yeah,
not to get
in
political.
1491, there was two big powerhouses, the Mexica, which we understand to be the Aztecs,
Okay.
and the Incan Empire.
Right.
At this point,
And
there
these
was.
are the names that like they would like. They're known
I think
as
so. I think the
Europeans. They
Inca.
were
I think
like,
Inca
oh,
is
they're
the right one.
Aztecs.
Yeah, Mexica is what they
Mexica
would have called
is-
themselves. Yeah,
Right.
they were Mexica people, and their like empire was that like Aztec, but
Yeah.
they
Oh, okay.
themselves were Mexica.
Oh, okay.
The reason why they were called Aztec is because when they were like explaining their origin, they're like, oh, we came from Aslan. That's why we came. We're actually the final people that came from Aslan, because everybody that was settled there, the Mayans and the Inca further down, were in their own lore. They came from Aslan, this mythical place farther north.
Yeah.
And the Mexica came through and was like, hey, we're we're the last ones.
Yeah, we're the sort of the last of the same.
The last of the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, do we know where they migrated from? Like, do
somewhere
are there
north,
any-
somewhere
just
north,
kind
somewhere
of,
vague.
yeah.
But like just like all creation myths, though, they're all gonna be tailored
Yeah.
to fit what you need it to fit. So
Yeah.
it's I generally assumed that like somewhere north, but exactly where it's from, it's not really even
Just kind of
relevant too much. Just
Yeah.
Just
Right.
what you need to know about the Aztec Empire is that it worked like a mafia, in like its when it was in full
In its hierarchy and
force. And actually, the way that it came up, it worked like a mafia. Like imagine a new player in the game. What are they gonna do? Start attacking like where you're holding supplies and stuff like that, and sort of work your way up.
Yeah,
And then
get
start
a hold
demanding
of those things, and yeah.
Start demanding tribute, and in retaliation, you're gonna if they don't pay tribute, you're gonna destroy their shit.
Right.
And so just like a mafia, they slowly build. They do end up building a magnificent fucking city in the middle of a lake.
Or doing like protection rackets, I would assume.
Protection
They're like,
racket, that's
"Hey,
basically
bro,
all it is, yeah.
You want to fucking live, you better pay me
Protection
money."
racket, to the point where their city, they had some farming on pampas, which are like little like soil beds floating on the river. They had some farming, but not enough to sustain all the population. Most of their food came from imports.
Yeah.
Like
I know that's how one of the biggest cities, Tenochtitlan, right?
Yep,
Isn't that how
Tenochtitlan.
it was set up, like on a not a river, but it was
On a
more
lake.
like
In the
a
lake.
lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
in the lake, and it's now modern day Mexico City. The Spanish built the city right on top.
Yeah.
I feel like I have heard that somewhere as well.
Yeah.
That's why it's sinking, right?
Yeah, because it's a lake bed, a dried up lake bed. But before they dried it up, it was still a lake bed.
Actual.
But not super deep. It wasn't.
Right,
It never
right.
was super deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they built mostly. They got around on the little boats, but they built like two main bridges to get like their supplies and stuff, to get like people on and off.
I do know that I'm not sure if this is from one of those audiobooks that I read or that I listened to. But I do know that when Cortez or whoever was meeting with Moctezuma, they like started the war or whatever, whoever started the war, and they were fleeing across these bridges. There was no other way to go because they were literally in the middle of a lake. They're fleeing across these bridges, and there's people underneath stabbing them with the spear through the they're getting attacked. Yeah, they're like literally on
the night of Noche Triste.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah, dude.
Yeah, but before that though.
I do know about that.
Before the Europeans show up, the Aztecs were living large, but it was also a very stratified society as well. Okay. It wasn't all happy, you know what I'm saying? All happiness. You were big chillin' if you were one of the nobles. Yeah. Or a noble family.
Yeah, you know wasn't it pretty harsh hierarchy, like, because they have like a whole slave population, right?
Yeah, and
you weren't maybe a slave forever.
And it wasn't the same understanding. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the same understanding of slavery as what.
It wasn't like European chattel slave, Western chattel slavery. Yeah.
It was a different type of slavery, but yeah, there was different hierarchies. But not even that, like what jobs you had to do, like your usefulness, like everybody. You basically wanted to be. If you weren't a noble, you wanted to be a warrior. Right. Because the warrior was the one that was going to get the most spoils based off of merit.
Yeah. They would get paid.
Got you.
Everything else. Actually, no. Scratch that. The other thing that was also merit based was being a priest, and that was like learning all of like those were like the actual people that were getting educated, like quote unquote whatever education is. Even what we do today, what even is that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever it was that they were doing, they were getting educated, but they were known as priests.
Yeah.
And.
Well, it probably had to do with astronomy because they knew about constellations, movement of the stars, mathematics.
Yeah, a lot of stuff for sure.
Yeah. Mathematics for sure.
Mathematics was probably a big one that priests were learning because it was probably tied to maybe like food distribution and shit like that.
Yeah, but also like they had a whole cyclical like religion and like mythology.
Oh yeah.
So
mythology wise,
it all had a very symmetrical.
And they did have glyphs, right? So they you know.
Yeah, they were writing. They were talking. They were sharing stories.
Would have been telling the story of the.
They were sharing stories.
They
were singing. They were doing plays. They were doing sports. You know what I'm saying?
They had libraries that were burnt down.
It was a whole deal.
And their books, they had like legit books. With the glyphs and everything.
Yeah.
That were just lost.
Well, I know that one isn't the Popol Vuh. Isn't that one of like the only remaining like actual Aztec things, and it was only because it was translated by some priest. And then it's kind of like, well, who even knows how accurately he's...
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure of all of the different codex names, but I think there is one that is one or two that's regarded as like more authentic, but most of them are regarded as like being influenced by the priests specifically and Christendom.
Yeah.
But after, and this is just a little quick tangent, but after that, like 100 years or so after that, there are native historians, like Nahua historians, that do their own history, like sort of retroactively,
writing and
it's kind of crazy. But coming back to our story here, they were living large, but yes, it was very stratified, and in a way, what you see in Apocalypto was, you know, that sort of stuff did happen, but not in the way that, or for the reasons that they tell you that it happened.
I would even argue that Mel Gibson's depiction of like the sacrifice scene on the temple is like, that's probably over exaggerated.
Right? So we don't know exactly how it went down. So what they do have is they do have like essentially murals, like glyphs that tell a story in different ways that do depict like pretty brutal stuff. But I mean, being on the battlefield was brutal. Like in European history, being on the battlefield was like the nastiest place that you can be.
Right.
But on top of that, the Spanish and the Italians had just perfected like torture in the Inquisition. You know what I'm saying? Like they were being like nasty to each other. You know what I'm saying, from the get go. So if you really want to compare like violence, then there's on equal footing, right? Yeah. But like I said like when we first started, the Europeans they controlled the narrative from the get go. And so we only think of indigenous violence as like bad violence.
Yes. Yeah.
So we don't know how brutal it was, And let's say Mel Gibson is accurate with the brutality. What he's not accurate for sure is the reason that they did it. And it was not 100% for spiritual reasons.
Oh. Okay.
And so, like, let's assume that the violence was that brutal. Why would it be that brutal? It would be that brutal to send a message, to show the other people.
This is the fucking leader of the guy who just tried to overthrow me.
Yeah.
Not just the leader, but it's like, look what happens when you don't do your tribute. Look what happens if you cross us. Look what happens.
So, on that regard, I do know a story. I'm about like 85% sure that it's true, where the Aztec or the Mexica, they were like in communication with a different tribe that I don't really remember, but they were pretty much like, hey, like, here's my daughter that you can marry, you know, and the Mexica were like part of their culture. Yeah, like you said, not only was it for like this religious doctrine that they had, but it was also like a political, you know, like double play almost. Yeah, like they sacrificed her, and you know, and it's like oh, like, well, you gave her to us, like she belongs to us, you know, like these are our justifications religiously, but it was definitely like, you know, like the reason why people know this is because it was like written from the other, they, you know, like they
I know what you're talking about. It was the Mexica's justification for why they came through and sort of took over. And,
right,
and it was
because the start of it.
It was because there was a like the Lord beforehand was like overstepping his power.
Okay.
And that was like one of the reasons why.
Yeah, because
they were
the
like,
Mexica like established themselves.
Yeah, there was like a
the
play.
The bigger Lord was like.
The evidence is a play. There was a play that essentially a play that they wrote where the woman gives like a speech like why, like, you're not gonna like avenge me, like my brothers and my sisters, my father, you're not gonna avenge me for what they're doing to me.
Right.
And she's like, that's fine, then I guess I'll go and be, you know, with the gods. And that, like, going to be with the gods or like giving your life on purpose was like hard for them. That was like tough, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were like, damn, that's tough. But also it's like a call to action, so it was like a rallying cry. But I mean, for a lot of reasons, that's also considered like a myth, like a creation myth.
Right. That was like part of the creation myth.
Right.
That's very interesting though, because that is like, you know, that's a little brief glimpse into the like propaganda. Of a culture. You know?
Yeah, and so I mean,
like,
there's
it's
propaganda on both
religious
sides.
and it's maybe mythological, but
There's
that is still sending a message of like you said, it's a rallying call. It's a fucking Uncle Sam needs you.
Yeah, exactly,
You know?
exactly.
In
And so
play form.
and for shoot, I don't actually know the actual years, but I want to say like hundreds of years this empire had been building in stages.
right.
And they know that from like the digs, you know, because things
Interesting. So it wasn't
on
just
top of
like
each
out
other.
of nowhere this big superpower comes over.
Of course, nothing ever happens
Eats
that
a power
quickly, you know what I'm
vacuum.
saying?
Yeah.
No, like they were building that.
Yeah.
You know, and the Europeans, they do definitely disrupt everything, but they disrupt it not because they were ordained for or because they were worshipped.
Right.
That's, you know, the other misconceptions from them dominating the narrative. And so the Hernán Cortés is the first person essentially that dominates this narrative. And so what we understand of the quote-unquote conquest, and I keep doing that because it's not necessarily a conquest, and I'll get into that, he dominates the narrative from the get-go. And what he does is he's trying to make his point to the Spanish crown that what he's doing is efficient, and what he's doing is worthwhile for the Spanish crown. And he really, really needs to make his point because he's pissed off hella people by this point. He has took 2 ships away from his commanding officer and sort of duped people into believing that he had.
Ooh, this sounds familiar.
Yeah. That he had given him permission to go and do this.
Yes.
But what he knew was that by the time he got there, that it would be too late for them to catch up and say like, hey, he doesn't actually have the orders. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And these people are like following orders because they're following a hierarchy of power on how they're gonna get paid at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
you don't want the mission to go very successfully and then be the guy who questioned and then be like, oh well, I'm the captain and I'm kind of in charge of this whole thing. I'm gonna have your part of the shares, you know.
Yeah.
I know that's like how a lot of the colonial powers kind of worked. It was like the guy in charge of any given operation is the one who gets to decide.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
You did a good job out there, champ.
Yeah. So he like
slaps a big receipt in your hand with everything you get.
It's like what a lot of things operate on, like I want to say like U.S. military training too, like facts on the ground. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what everybody's operating on, and this and really, I mean, I don't know if it starts there, but that is what they're assuming, and that is like everybody is doing.
Right.
What the reality is at that time is what we're gonna go with.
Right.
And their actions follow that path. Along with everything else that we've talked about, specifically the guys.
Yeah.
So he brings, I believe it's 2 ships. He brings 2 ships full of dudes. They all bring their horses. Really quickly, I want to say horses traveled on ships in a really, really fucked up way. They have trouble standing, so they wouldn't be able to stand, with the ship rocking, and they would break their limbs and such.
Yeah.
And so they were essentially on like these weird like harness, like, and then like kind of floating, suspended.
And all they're able to do is just like be fed.
Kind of just be fed and kind of shit.
Crazy.
Yeah. Be fed, and it was a 3-month trip.
Yeah. No, that's terrible.
Yeah, dude, these horses, not a lot of them made it. So if you had a horse, you were super mega valuable.
Yeah.
If you had ammo, you were valuable. You had weapons.
I can't imagine.
This is like a proto manosphere. High value.
High value man. Yeah. You're a high value man.
Yeah. Again, the shittiest Avengers.
I can't imagine that horses would be very useful though, right? Like I'm thinking of like,
the area.
Yeah, like
the
Central
landscape.
America, and I'm like, dude, depending on where you land, you might be
They were still super useful though.
Thick jungle.
Traversal.
There's a reason
pulling, like heavy loads and gear.
There's a reason why indigenous groups adopt horses immediately.
Yeah.
Because they're that fucking useful everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean they are sort of a burden for some of the expeditions. So like for example, one expedition that I know of that was going from Florida from Florida Panhandle up and over without knowing what the fuck is out there, up and over what is the Gulf of Mexico, like Texas, like New Mexico, and trying to come back to like Santa Fe, California. I think it was like on that parallel, to like rally with other Spanish people to then go back home to Spain to see your family. And it was a group of what initially was like 160 dudes, and by the end there was 2 guys, and before all these dudes died, a lot of them killed their horse in order to eat the horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's just smart in survival situation. Not gonna lie.
Okay. So I'm Litty Boobity. They landed somewhere where they're like, oh fuck, we actually want to go that way, and then getting there, only 2 survived.
Yeah, that's a different story though. Yeah.
Okay.
That was Cabeza de Vaca.
Okay.
Yeah, his group. But Hernan Cortez, in the initial like discovery of like the Mexico area, what is now Mexico, he lands in Yucatan, which is like this little little spot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sort of
to the bottom.
like real close to where Namor would live, if you know where he lives.
Namor. Okay.
You've been there.
You've been there. Yeah.
So he lands there. But the ships that he takes, he knows that he is only going to be able to keep up the ruse for so long, and so he fucking beaches 2 of them and burns them. He beaches 2 ships, breaks them down, and then has his crew burn them. The people that are loyal to him burn them because he doesn't want anyone to go back and sort of tell on him.
Yeah.
Or sort of abandon him.
Right.
So they have 1 ship, and that ship I think they leave to get supplies.
Uh-huh.
But before they leave, they all rally a little bit into the mainland, and Cortez starts his narrative of everyone fucking loves me, like I'm the god to him, to them, and he's trying to secure his place as the conquistador, as the guy that's gonna be the front of the crown.
Right.
And he's not actually that guy. He's the second. He's the second dude. He fucking jumped ship. Yeah. He shouldn't have been that guy.
Right.
But facts on the ground, he is that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He convinces everybody that he's that guy.
He played the system.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, like, his name is remembered. You know, like, so he did kind of, it did work, right? Like, he was able to fucking get that shit.
Yeah, the gamble work. Yeah.
Right.
That's like not dissimilar from people that you see in other empires in history. Julius Caesar, you know, did the same exact thing. Had a very big gamble, and disobeyed the Senate, and basically the stakes were, if I fail and come back to the Senate, they're gonna behead me. And if I win, everyone's gonna love me, and the Senate's not gonna be able to fucking say a thing.
Yeah.
Because look what I just conquered.
Right.
I conquered all of Gaul.
Right.
You gonna question me?
I know that. I
know
that from Rome Total War.
Meanwhile, historians now regard that as maybe one of like the very first, OG well-known genocides of the Celtic people. Of the Gallic people.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Because he just kind of came through. Very tribal people. They ended up at some point getting together and doing like a little bit of a confederacy kind of thing, and they all went under the command of this guy named Vercingetorix, which is a fucking sick name.
That sounds like it'd be like a lieutenant in the Confederate Army or something.
Yeah, right. Vercingetorix.
Oh, goddamn that Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix.
Oh, goddamn that Vercin. He done took my goddamn pig.
Yeah. Very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was so fucked up.
The dude does the exact same thing.
That was so fucked up.
He did a big gamble and also does.
I also don't know about Vercin. Yeah, I also don't know. I don't know anything about that side.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The history, dude. The lore is so fucking.
The lore is so deep. That's crazy.
Deep ass fucking lore. So they pull up with this legal document that the Catholic Church agreed upon with the Spanish and the Portuguese called the requerimiento, the requirement. And essentially what it says is it requires the indigenous people to submit to the crown and to God. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, face the punishment.
Die. Yeah.
And it's something that they
join or die.
Yeah, it's something that they immediately started doing essentially from Hispaniola. Hispaniola was like their training ground. It's like where they fucking like experimented with what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
you know
that's the tutorial level.
Yeah, exactly. That little island tutorial level, exactly.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Oh man, and that guy is so terrible.
That's terrible.
Imagining like a conquistador in RuneScape.
Oh my god.
Kill this one. You know?
Genocide here.
This one, burn it all down. Yes.
And it stays the Caribbean has a long history.
British voice.
all of those islands on the Caribbean have a long history of experimentation, going up to the 20th century actually. And currently too, it's really
experimentation.
Really in
the 20th century, I know about.
Yeah, bro, it's really.
I'm aware of
That's crazy.
some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Experimentation in the context of this time period, though. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean?
It was like how they were gonna approach certain types of people, like the friendly ones, what they were gonna do with the friendly ones, what they were gonna do with the
and just kind of
the
figuring
not
out
friendly
like,
ones.
all right, how do we approach this new continent?
Yeah, how do we operate? What can we bring here? They brought cows, they brought chickens, they brought like what the fuck is wheat? They brought wheat. They loved wheat. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to introduce
corn,
that immediately.
Right?
Corn is actually indigenous. Corn
is it?
American.
Okay.
Yeah. Corn went the other way.
Am I thinking of potatoes?
Potatoes,
that
indigenous.
Went the other way.
Potatoes. Right? Potatoes, indigenous. They went to Europe. Yeah. So that's the Columbian exchange.
Yeah.
Europeans brought certain things. They brought all of the
and then they
all
would
of the
trade
big
corn
game
with.
that we know, not game, livestock, the big livestock that we know.
Okay.
They all brought. They introduced
Cattle.
Yeah.
all the cattle, all of the
Pork.
hooven animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Goats,
fucking brought
all
those.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
They're
Okay, so horses are not native.
nope.
Horses
Okay.
are not native.
Okay.
Nope.
I
There
knew
were
that.
some horses like way before. We're talking like fucking woolly mammoth like eras,
Yeah.
but they died out. They died out.
That's like back when humans were just
barely
barely
showing
getting
up.
to the
Yeah.
continent from
Yeah, the humans might have killed them
the,
type shit.
Yeah.
land bridge.
I do know that they also brought a lot of dogs, and the dog diseases killed a lot of the native dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like even like the ones that you find that are like actually the types of dogs that were native there. The
Excuse me.
Chihuahuas and the hairless dogs. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Those have DNA of like European dogs.
Yeah.
Even though that they are like native dogs, they're still like half.
Yeah.
You know, they're
It
still,
also
like,
that goes back to what I was telling you before, or what I'll tell you next time, of the three migrations into the Americas. The land bridge is one. The others are
that's right.
earlier and later after the land bridge, and the DNA earlier. And the DNA from the dogs, it does go back to an original ancestor where the European and the American dogs were similar.
So
Yeah.
that meaning that
Crazy.
they were brought over at one point
Yeah. The people came with their dogs.
from
Yeah.
either the one that I was talking about or the one earlier that you just
Previous.
mentioned.
Exactly.
Bro, that's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Earlier is crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I only know because land bridge. I'm talking about Alaska, way up there.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Ice Age.
That's the
era,
land bridge that I'm
they-
thinking of too.
Yeah, the world freezes enough to where the sea level drops and exposes the crossable. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, there was
Crazy.
potentially one before, and we can get into that next time.
Yeah, that's not important here. That's just tangential. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know there was one before.
Yeah, dude, and you know, freaking history.
The lore is so deep.
History changes, bro.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The
History
more that
changes.
you learn, the more that things are recontextualized.
Well, for me, I feel like just real quick.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of like movie choices that I had as a kid and whatnot were very like historically based or like had
National
like some
treasure.
kind of historical thing. My parents also brought us to like historical places. One of the coolest ones was here in California, San Juan Bautista, which is a mission here in California. And we went there, and it was just very cool because it's like a fully preserved mission, you know, with like a little fucking church and everything. Very cool. So I've always had the interest in history, and because of that, I feel like I've always been like, nah, it's all connected. You know, there's everything. It's a fucking linear story. We just don't know it. We're piecing it together with the very small fragments we have. You know,
Yeah.
even from this era.
Yeah.
Of, you know,
100%.
like you said, most of what we know is from
Yeah.
Colonial powers getting to dictate what is, you know, quote unquote known about the natives and whatnot.
Yeah, there's essentially an assumption that like 99% of shit is just forgotten, just completely. There's no evidence of it.
Yeah.
And
like
because of
imagine
things
how many
like you
things.
said,
Imagine how many
burned.
things you experience on your day to day. Like you know, do you write shit down? Like no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you did write shit down, would somebody find it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Could you like guarantee that? Maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
If you hide it really good.
But you want someone to find it, you know what I mean? But like, you know,
you
when
hide it really good, but
and even
like,
then, it's like the materials are the whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's like an assumption that like 1% of stuff survives, and what we know is very very limited. But that's what history is. We're trying to history is understanding of humans and their interaction with the world. So like not necessarily the environment, yes, but you know during human time.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to like set a parameter. Otherwise, history is everything, and that's
History is
the way that
everything.
I like to conceive of
Yeah.
it. Like history is everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But essentially, we don't know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A lot of it just kind of falls
Yeah.
to nothingness. Just
And it's just
erases
the
almost.
current understanding that we can go
Yeah.
by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the current before like the 2000s, they were assuming the propaganda. They were just whatever it was like that
Yeah,
initial thing was like, oh yeah, that's how we understand it, and that was like
Well,
real
I mean-
historical work went into that.
Yeah.
And then like
yeah.
jumping ahead just a couple hundred years from where we're talking about, you get like salesmen who are like, buy this medicine and it's crushed up mummies. You know?
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Like, and
Right.
people will just be like, great, that
Oh
sounds
yeah, that
perfect.
sounds great. Yeah.
It's crushed up mummies, mercury, opium,
Uh-huh.
and Coca-Cola.
the remnants of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know. Corpos, they might survive.
Not
forever.
actually Coca-Cola, but just like some syrup, and
Yeah.
like opium and
Yeah.
then like gin.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised though. I wouldn't be surprised. Survive for Johnson & Johnson might just go on forever and ever and ever.
True.
One of those big ones.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I mean that's.
Yeah.
True.
That's another thing we could talk about another time is how like a handful of corporations own basically everything that we consume.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's basically cyberpunk. Like the cyberpunk
yeah,
idea.
we're
Happening right
already
now, except not
future,
fucking cool.
but not cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
yeah.
cool.
Where are my robot arms?
why can't I hack into that guy's brain and tell him to? And we're not going to finish that sentence.
Mhm.
'Cause,
Yeah. Just play cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, play Cyberpunk, get a really good build on the Netrunner.
Yeah, Netrunner.
Yeah. It's a fun time.
Fun time.
That game again so bad.
When they first show up, they're operating on the same logic, and they're treating the indigenous people how they understand to treat indigenous people. So they read them the requerimiento. If they agree or not, they're friendly, and if they don't agree,
Okay.
they're not. Most of them don't know what the fuck is going on, and so
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna
They-
so like language
Imagine
barrier.
a random person walking into your home and being like, "Hey, so I'm gonna take up the living room."
yeah.
Okay, and basically
drops
what's
all
gonna
my stuff
happen
in the
next?
living room.
Well, even worse.
Um,
Imagine this. You're just going about your day. Big chilling. You fucking hear this weird commotion. You look over. A bunch of fucking
They're
dudes are
already
struggling.
in your home. They didn't
No,
knock
just
on the door.
not even. They haven't even gone far because they're all fucking struggling.
Yeah, all you hear is
Yeah,
like shit
yeah.
clanking,
All you hear
people
is a bunch of
grunting.
fucking weird stuff going on.
And
it's
then,
like,
and then they
damn.
and then they're like, oh, when you catch them,
Struggling
they're like
in the
pulling
mud.
out a scroll real quick.
Yeah, and then you're like, hey, you need help, and they're like, oh, let me,
Pulling some
and then you don't
shit.
understand them. You're like, I
yeah,
don't
you
understand
literally
you.
don't understand. The
And you're
words
like, I'm
coming
gonna
out
go
of their
grab some homies to come help you, and then you go and you grab some more dudes, and then they're fucking attacking you because you didn't do what they said, and that's essentially what it was. But they did meet
mouth. God,
eventually.
that's so fucked up.
Some people in order to do some transactions with, and the first thing that happened was there was one guy who had gotten stranded there from a previous expedition, and he had been there for 10 fucking years. Jose Diaz.
I do know about this guy.
And Jose Diaz, did I
What,
just
just
make
like
that up?
alone, and he's just like eating
No, no, no,
coconuts
no.
and
He
crabs?
was adopted into a
Yeah, no,
into a
he
hotel.
like married
Okay.
into a family.
What the fuck? I was
Yeah.
like, wait, and he's just like, I can't hang out with those freaking people, dude. I'm gonna just survive out here, and hopefully they come back for me. You
Yeah.
got a lot of faith in your boys.
That's
Bernal Diaz del Castillo, maybe. Either way, there was a guy who was there, and he learned the language enough to be able to help translate. The problem is there's hella fucking languages, and there are some commonalities, but
yeah.
but there is going to be some misunderstandings, especially from going from Cortez to the guy. I think his name was Diaz. Going from Cortez to the fucking guy to the translator to the other person and back, and so there's misunderstandings the whole fucking way. But against all odds, Cortez and his fucking guys, they keep trudging on. They make some alliances, specifically with the Tlaxcalans. They're a very, very specific group that we should remember, specifically because that's one myth that Cortez sets up immediately with the propaganda as well, that he's out there doing this shit and like just hitting fools or sort of conquering people on his own.
yeah.
And he's doing it for the crown.
Right.
But really, he's got indigenous allies, and he's also sort of making concessions, like basically fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have much to gamble with.
Coming to agreements and
Yeah.
like by concessions you mean like basically just being like, here's what I can promise you from the crown
Mm-hmm. Yep.
with no real authority to actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, but for the Tlaxcalans,
In exchange
it works.
for-
It works out for them.
Whatever he needs, men, food, whatever.
Yeah, the Tlaxcalans. I'm sure there are Tlaxcalans to this day, but the Tlaxcalans survive essentially all the way up until Mexican independence.
Yeah.
As like their own
Of
fucking
people.
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As like nobility.
Similar to what would be like Native Americans, the tribes here in America, like
maybe even more, bro. Like in the sense that like there is like a Spanish nobility, there's a Tlaxcalan nobility, and they are noble. They have their own set of rules.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
So it works out for them essentially.
It's almost like they keep their state.
Definitely older in scale, I would say. Well, I mean, I can't say that with confidence, but just like
it was just a different way of understanding government.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Europeans.
Also, sorry for the special guest.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
if they
in the
pick
background.
up, if they're
you know what I'm saying? They have questions.
Yeah.
And if we could only understand them.
They're clamoring.
Hey, pipe down the peanut gallery, would ya?
If we could only understand them, bro.
They have real questions.
Imagine.
Yeah.
But
Boil
no,
up
like
on that would be
where's food?
crazy.
it's just a different interactions with North American indigenous tribes that those Europeans had. But the Tlaxcalans do end up getting that concession, and they do keep their noble titles for fucking generations.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah.
But Cortez keeps trudging along the whole time. He's looking for the fucking gold. Show me that money. And everyone keeps telling him, like, it's not us. They're trying to save their community, essentially. Like, hey, we saw what you did. And it's the dudes down the river. Keep going. Just keep going. And then they keep going.
Yeah. So I've also heard a story. Not sure if it's true, but they came through to a specific tribe or city, and part of their worship was you drape them in gold and like gold flake, and then they swim in the river, and the gold flake goes off of them. And then like the people come out and just throw gold into the not river but like lake or something.
Oh wow.
And they use the gold as ornamental. It's not like a monetary value thing. So when they see it, they're like, oh, they are rich. They're fucking throwing the most valuable thing into the lake. They must have hella of it.
But it's not necessarily valuable to them.
And so that's where like they started like, okay, like they must have a bigger thing. Where is, your center of gold? El Dorado. The search for El Dorado. But then that lake, they did a lot of attempts to drain it or dig out the gold, because they realized that they've been doing it for hella fucking long. This is their tradition of just throwing gold into this lake. It failed every time. It wasn't like they would just come up with like mud. It was never really successful.
Yeah.
And they just drained a lake for no reason. And it didn't really drain.
They probably just diverted it.
Yeah.
Dug trenches and diverted the lake.
Right.
To a different area.
Yeah.
And then they were like, what do you know? It's just mud, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned El Dorado. From what I understand, El Dorado is also one of those things that's kind of just like a mythologized thing that they kind of just made up.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, well, some guys told us that it's real, it exists.
And to what you were saying, it would
just
be
as
like
motivation to further their money, because they needed more money to
get to the crown,
continue
their 3Gs
exploring this place.
To what you were saying though, it was like, okay, like they said, it comes from that way. They got to the next people and they're like, oh nah, bro, like not us. Like we saw what you did. We heard that you're looking for that. It's actually going to be in between the two mountains, going that way.
Just keep describing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it all kind of looks the same.
And exactly.
Yeah, they do. The Europeans do have a long standing tradition of like these fictitious tales of travel and like finding like very fantastical things.
Something that follows all the way into like the 1920s.
Yeah, I mean,
there's still people who are like, we went down to South America and we found,
Isn't that where like just adventure novels come in?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's
you
what
know,
I mean.
like,
Is like
they're
that
just
kind
fiction.
of culture of fictitious things that actually, they're actually real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, that's a deeply American thing. It's
I
actually
mean,
still alive.
the found footage.
Never mind, it's
the
still
found
alive.
footage genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, another one, another episode.
That's another episode.
Yeah, Mandeville's Travels. Let's call it that one.
Yeah.
That's actually what the thing that I was thinking of was called. Mandeville's Travels. So yeah, they do have this idea of El Dorado, and they want to go find it, and the people keep telling them that there's more gold somewhere.
Yeah.
Along the way, they also it's either gold or just like riches. There's like a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But also
Fame and glory.
maybe resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's vague.
Yeah, because it's like, how do you, like Richie was
It's like,
saying,
so
if
what
there's
do
a
you- what do you
society that understands what gold is as a concept, but doesn't understand that it holds monetary value, that shit might get lost in translation to
Yeah.
the things that they are actually describing to the settler. Or
Yeah.
I mean, it is
colonialists,
something
yeah.
that like
powers.
it does have value.
Yeah.
It is something that generally is like the nobility have it, and like they decorate themselves
Yeah,
with it
right.
and stuff. But I mean, they're not necessarily trading with
Bro,
it
if I'm
because
transported to fucking 12th century England and I walk up to a peasant and I'm like, hey, bro, and he barely understands me, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, riches, sure.
you probably want riches, huh?
That way, castle, that way.
Yeah.
Hey,
you
you
know.
probably want riches, huh?
And I get to the
Ah,
castle
you
and the
want
guy's
riches.
like,
Well, I mean, I think
yeah, not for you, though.
they probably do have an easier way to say like, pull out their shiny sword and like we're looking for, what I'm saying, shiny.
Oh, that's
And,
true,
like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I know shiny. Keep going.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So along the way, they do get another translator who is indigenous this time, and she does have knowledge of several languages because she grew up as a slave. She got taken from one community of Nahua-speaking people to a
so-
different community, and learned languages along the way. And of course,
So she can. So, and this is kind of like dialect kind of shit, right? Like, it's
I mean,
kind
I
of
have no
one
idea how much
language,
it's-
but it's like deeper than just a dialect, right?
I have no idea how much it actually varies. To be completely honest,
I would imagine incredibly varied.
It's yeah. I want to say
Because
that.
it's not like there's not like a postal service where everyone's connected and they're
Yeah.
all speaking the same,
Yeah,
writing
yeah,
in the same,
especially,
I
especially
would
if
say
it's like
that there's
forest.
even more isolated communities that would go deeper into their.
There is also a mix though of raiding. There's they're raiding for different
That's
reasons.
true, yeah.
They're competing against each other.
There's also a lot of trade too.
The Tlaxcalans, the reason why they're able to negotiate their position like so hard is because they are like mortal enemies with the Aztecs first off.
Mhm.
But they have been enemies with them for so long, and they're essentially rivals like not on same footing because the Aztec was the top dog,
Yeah.
but they want to be top dogs. Like
Yeah,
they're
they-
the up and
yeah,
comer.
yeah,
They want to be that guy.
Right.
It's
Um,
like
if
the
they're punching-
Starks and the Boltons.
Right. If they're
Yeah.
punching at the level at the Aztecs, that means that they are on a specific
Yeah.
higher
So they-
mark.
There was a lot of exchange, but I
Yeah.
mean there also is those divisions of. I mean I literally don't know how.
Do
it
we
changes.
know why the Aztecs were like the hegemonic power? Like, what gave them? Was it like manpower, or was it?
It
Just
was well
They
kind
were-
of their,
from
they
the
were
very,
mercenaries.
their political.
from the very beginning. They were like mercenaries,
Right.
and they fought
So
everybody
they got like
for everybody.
reputation. They got fucking.
They got clout,
Gotcha,
and then they
yeah,
got
okay.
land,
Riches. They got reputation, riches,
Yeah.
and that was before they like established their like main.
land. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
their
they
main
were
domain.
mercenaries, like essentially selling their sword to whoever wanted it, and
Got you. And
eventually.
then at one point they were just like, "Why don't we just take this shit?" dog?"
well, there's like a huge war, like a big ass civil war,
Yeah.
and a power vacuum, and they
yeah,
exploit
yeah.
it.
Someone died
yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
and okay.
And
gotcha.
it also goes into their
crazy.
mythology where
That sounds so similar to how like the shogunate started.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like mercenaries, sell swords. They were kind of like very powerful army, but no real political gains. And then there was a power vacuum, and they were like, "Why don't we just take it?"
part of their like origin story was also mixed with their mythology, and that's where you get the where it's like the god Huitzilopochtli pointed. He was like in that direction. You'll see the snake, eagle eating a snake on a cactus, that's where you're gonna be.
Well, that's where they were first, like from the get go, and they were selling them their sword. There was other people on the coast of the lake, and they showed up, and they boop in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's I was just saying how like.
And it was like water. It was like something that nobody wanted. It was like a swampy ass like marsh.
Yeah,
it was literally a marsh.
And they built a fucking city on top
and
of that.
they built like a little settlement at first, and it was like
over time.
Yeah. As they were getting richer and richer doing their jobs.
Right.
So they eventually become the powerhouse, and by the time that Cortez is now scoping out different things. Oh, I forgot to introduce the translator. Her name is La Malinche, as she is known in Mexican culture, which is fucked up, but her name is known as Doña Marina. Like, I don't know if she has a last name or not. Doña Marina, she's like I said, originally a Nahua girl that was taken for the slave trade, grew up in the slave trade. I think she was like 15 when Cortez shows up. So hella questionable. He like obviously. Eventually he marries her off to his like lieutenant. Right. But it's like his mistress, like well known. Anyway, she is very, very valuable because she is able to translate.
Oh my god. Why is the royalty so weird throughout history, bro?
Yeah, every time.
She's able to translate for them, and so amongst her and the other guy, I believe his name is Diaz. I'm gonna keep saying it. They're able to get by a little bit better, but still not very good. Yeah. So they make that deal with the Tlaxcalans. Now they're pointed to who are actually the big dogs, because now the Tlaxcalans actually have like stake in it too, and so they're like, yo, in fact, we'll take fucking hundreds of us, and we'll go with you, bro. Like you'll take your dozen dudes, and we'll go. There's fucking hundreds of us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like along the way, they're like doing the Tlaxcalans like little side missions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, before we do that, bro, I need to go.
Actually, there's a town that we gotta go visit. Right?
Dude,
because I got some debts, and these motherfuckers don't want to listen.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? You want gold? I could pay you, but they haven't paid us. And like, okay, we'll go. And so they
pay us, we pay you.
Do we have to?
We could cut the middleman.
And they go about with hella of them, and that's another myth that Cortez sets up. Like I mentioned before, the help that he's getting. Yeah. In this sense, he's literally getting hundreds of dudes.
Hundreds of them.
Well-trained dudes that they know the terrain, they know how to fight, they know who they're fighting, they know the types of fights that they're gonna get into. Yeah. And then on top of that, now they have fucking dudes on horses and fucking these new weapons that we've never fucking seen.
Yeah. Right.
And those things.
How do you combat a weapon that isn't like meant for that battlefield?
Those fucking.
You don't
swords,
even need to give them any armor or anything. You just give them a saber, and you're like, there you go. Go run at them.
Those swords are fucking insane, bro. And because in close quarters, nobody stands a chance. Yeah. Nobody is armored at all.
And I assume that when we're talking about weapons that the Spanish would be giving them, it probably would be sabers, right?
They had what they brought. They had what they brought, so it was whatever they had, whatever type of weapon.
Either way, though, it's steel, and like, if it's a fucking rapier, you're gonna get stabbed because these guys don't have any. The most that someone would have is like leather on. Right. I would assume. Yeah. And that's not gonna stop a fucking saber, a rapier, a fucking spear, any of that.
No. To their credit, the indigenous people that they fight are super vicious as well, to the point where the Spanish, they need to set up around the clock guards,
they definitely
like nonstop,
armor,
because they're doing
right.
They have some of them have armor. Yeah. But they're doing skirmishes. Thing. They're pulling up.
Right.
Like the shogun. Yeah.
Who has armor? Well, it's really who can afford it.
Yeah, who can afford it? Exactly.
Yeah, who can afford the armor? But the indigenous people are skirmishing the whole fucking time. And meanwhile, the Aztecs, Moctezuma specifically, he's the leader of the Aztecs when Cortez shows up. He is a smart fucking guy. He's a second.
I know a little bit about Moctezuma just from some videos that I've watched.
Sick. Let's just run that down. Yeah.
Very interested in the ancient aliens.
Yeah.
When is that coming up?
Well, now because when
That's all happening
before-
underneath.
And I'm just gonna get into that right now after this break. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, praise be.
So the ancient aliens actually, and then it's me solo monologuing like I've edited myself.
You've edited yourself
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Solo
It's like, yo, how come this
monologuing.
thing is
Hey,
4
forget
hours
about
long?
everything that this guy just said. Let me tell you about what was actually happening with the ancient aliens. All right, Montezuma.
So he's a super fucking smart guy. Also he's well connected. He has a lot of resources. He's been spying the whole time, trying to just understand what these people are about. Cortez eventually says that they treated him as a god, but the Moctezuma's understanding, at least like to the best of our own understanding, is that he was treating him the way that he would treat a new player in his domain.
Right, like another
not just a new player, a fucking new superpower. Like, you don't take that shit lightly.
Right.
Like, this shit could annihilate us, or we can continue to thrive. We can continue to be, some type
because
of.
I know that he did try to kind of work together for a time, right?
Well, his understanding was that they were gonna treat them. You haven't done me dirty at all,
Yeah,
right?
they were like, so we're gonna be chill.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
like
then it wasn't until the Spanish were like,
Which
made
was also
it kind of
potentially another
move.
misunderstanding. Yeah, potentially another misunderstanding. So the whole way that they're coming, Moctezuma is trying to understand what's going on with them. There's a lot of theories as to like why. Obviously, it was political, but there's also sort of a fringe theory that Moctezuma was an alien. No, fringe theory that Moctezuma was he's sort of just a collector of like oddities. Like, he likes to collect. That actually is real. He had
Oh, okay.
he had like
Real
a
zoo.
zoo. He had like a zoo, but not just like a
Right.
regular zoo, like animals, but also like
feel like, bro, I got a beaver
like
from
people with
Iowa.
like
You wanna check it
dwarfism,
out?
like people from like with like dwarfism, like
Yeah.
somebody was born with like a defected arm, like
Dude,
he had them,
but that
like
that-
taken care of,
that
Right,
is
yeah.
so
but he
like,
had them to like go
fed
look,
and- yeah.
go look at,
What's the
and
word
they
I'm
actually
looking
probably were living chill, like more
Yeah.
chill than they would have been.
Well, I mean, they look
Potentially,
right,
but
yeah,
also
at the
fucked up.
palace.
Yeah, I'm
for?
not saying
they're
it's- I'm
getting
not saying
paid. They're at least getting fed very well, right?
Potentially.
Fed better than a regular slave.
I would
Way,
assume-
way
According
down
to
on
the
totem
defenders,
pole, right?
yeah, according to the defenders, for sure.
I would assume that the equivalent is they would have a PS5.
At least,
At least. At the very least.
and Wi-Fi,
Oh,
And
yeah.
Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, PS5. Yeah.
and water,
And like great food.
and you got water.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, maybe you get wheeled out, and he's like, "Do the thing,
Hey.
the thing."
And yeah, sometimes a guy comes into your room just to
And
look
just
at
to,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brings people around. So
Dude,
that they-
imagine
me
being
the
one of those
baby.
people that
And they
Dude,
bring,
I'm 36.
and you're just
Bring
having, yeah, and you, yep.
And the Conquistadors like, yes, I've actually seen one of these before.
We have two.
We have one of them back home as well.
Well,
I believe that
The
was...
French theory was that Moctezuma was like, yo, these guys are like us, but they're fucking pale. What's up with that?
Something
Yeah,
happened,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, they all had Mexican. They all had LA.
Yeah.
Mexican.
Hey,
bro.
órale,
Hey.
Holmes.
They're
What's
all
up with
fucking
this
pale.
guy?
Listen, they're all pale and they all got blonde hair.
It's
What
like
the fuck?
And he said, bro, a shiny Pokemon? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said, bro.
Hey, so what are
Shiny one.
So first order of business. What are the chances we can capture one?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
First thing
exactly.
he says.
Exactly.
Well, they do have a lot of pointy things. Pointy things. What kind of pointy things? Shiny?
we have pointy things.
Shiny pointy things.
Do they
Like
understand
shiny
language? And it's like, yeah, they seem to understand language.
They
Bring
have
them to me.
translators.
They also have this
I want to
weird
see for myself.
four-legged
Yeah.
thing.
You're like, bring them to me.
Four-legged thing.
Yeah, they're riding deer, bro. They're riding
Yeah.
deer. That's what
Yeah.
they said. They're riding big deer.
Oh,
They're riding
Yeah,
that
the
makes
equivalent of
sense.
deer. Yep.
Yeah, oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're riding big deer, bro.
Well, and I assume that
Deer without
for
horns.
these people, they would probably see other things that they brought, like pigs. or
Not yet.
chicken.
Not yet. The
Oh,
Conquistadors
no,
were the
not
first,
yet.
like the
Oh,
the
okay.
first like contact.
Yeah,
The first contact. So
there
I-
wasn't necessarily like goods there just yet
right.
that they
right.
had with them, right?
I've been setting up this idea of like conquest as like a contested term.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the reason is because it's not 100% a conquest in the sense that like the,
yeah.
the Spanish
It's more just like exploring and just like a big parade of guys walking around being like,
I
hey,
was-
so where do we go? And they got
That-
pointed to Montezuma.
that, but also like the indigenous influence too, like the allies, the indigenous allies. Like it wasn't just
Oh, yeah,
Europeans.
yeah,
Like, even if we
yeah.
say like they
That
did
too,
actually
yeah.
show up and take over, it's like yeah, but they did it with indigenous allies.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they came through, but they were also kind
It's
of
like the
steered.
misconception of
They have to be
300.
guided.
Yeah,
like it
sure.
wasn't just the Spartans.
Like,
Right.
there
It
were
was a
300
conglomerate of a bunch of different Greek powers.
Guys.
There's a bunch of
Guys.
guys.
There's a bunch of Greek guys.
That
Oh my
one definitely
God.
fits with the Spartans.
Yeah.
So they
All the Greeks. All the Greeks.
All the Greeks. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
fuck.
Me too.
So they had a ton of help. Language survives. That's why it's not fully a conquest. Like food
Yeah.
went the other way. Syphilis went the other way.
Yep.
And all of the other fucking deadly diseases that. So I
really-
imagine that there was a lot of diseases, of course, that Europeans brought here.
Mhm.
Do we know if there's any that that they were susceptible to once they got here because they
Yeah,
had never
but-
come into contact?
Yeah, but not to the same extent. Like syphilis would have been the big
because
one.
difference in populations. I
Yeah,
assume.
right. Difference
Larger
in,
population in Europe like proliferates more diseases.
Yeah, I mean, only if you're like super promiscuous would you have gotten syphilis. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Or
sure.
your husband was.
But I also just mean like common cold, because for an
Oh, yeah, they
indigenous
wouldn't have
person,
gotten it. It doesn't spread
bro,
that way. That's
a
the
fucking
thing.
common cold.
Yeah.
Like,
The
dude,
vector is not the same.
that's
Yeah.
deadly for
Exactly.
someone who's never had it.
So like yellow fever was a problem and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
like the vector is not the same. You know,
Right.
you're not gonna go back and spread that
Yeah.
the way that you would the common cold,
yeah,
smallpox. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Consumption.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's crazy to just imagine that, to give them the benefit of the doubt, they didn't know this at the time. But, yeah,
Oh,
pretty
that
much
they were
every
bringing
single
shit.
person was a fucking vector.
Oh yeah.
Like, imagine, like,
Right.
COVID times, right?
Yeah.
Like, one person with COVID goes to a concert and they're able to infect 20 different people
Mhm.
or whatever.
Right. Now
right?
it's a party of people.
But, like, instead of just having COVID, that person has, like, 5 different things you could
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. And they're all gonna wreck you.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
matters on, like, well, you might not get it if you don't have sex with any of them. Okay, we're past that one. But did you get in breathing distance? Fuck.
Right.
Yeah. So to the point of the conquest, everything that we've talked about so far does not seem like a conquest.
No.
They
It
all.
seems
I
like
mean,
a
they also.
slow
I think the way to think of
A
it is
stroll through.
the way to think of it is an
foreign
exchange or
lands.
a contact.
Yeah,
A
contact.
connection. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
an exchange for sure, but like a contact.
What
and
those guys try to do in North Sentinel Island and always get killed for.
Yes, go contact the tribe. But yeah, so Montezuma, you could think of him and his people as like trying to be thinking of themselves as equal players, and that's what he thought. So he invites them in.
Mhm.
He invites all of them to pull up. They do pull up. They have an exchange of words, and there's this like huge mythological scene that plays out between Cortez meeting Montezuma, and the only way that we know of it is through the sponsor.
Through the sponsor, Dave.
We don't need to do that. We're
Yeah,
good.
thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
The only way that we know it is what transpired, and later on what the indigenous people wrote down, based off of what they understood of what transpired. Of what Cortez wrote down.
Right.
Right.
And what he wrote down was that they treat him like a king and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But according to scholars of Nahua language specifically, when you were nobility, you spoke to your underlings in this like self defeating way. Like you always elevated not your underlings, but like your rival noble person. You always talk to them like, oh, you're so fucking great. But
Yeah,
actually,
you
I'm
serve
gonna
them
need a
like
little
a
bit
lot
of
of-
money.
Right.
Yeah, you
a
like
lot of
kiss ass and then you
platitudes
like
and
do the
platitudes.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, platitudes.
Yeah.
Right.
So you
I do
sort
know
of
about
talk
that.
to yourself like, oh, you're great and I'm not as great, but I need a little bit of that cash,
Right. Right.
or else we're gonna stab you.
Yeah.
And so there was that misunderstanding from the translator to Cortez, and he's thinking, yo, they're fucking talking.
Right, yeah, because he
Dude,
he
it's
shows
New
up and he's
World
like
G-checking,
oh
bro.
wow, you're fucking your skin is white. That's cool as hell.
Hey, bro,
He's like,
I
he thinks
love
you're
how
really
you're
cool.
how your eyes are weird. No offense.
You have
Great eyes,
shiny-
great eyes. Love your eyes. The best eyes. One of the greatest. but I'm gonna need a 20.
I'm gonna need a little bit of that cash.
Yeah, and so the translator was like, "Yo,
I can see how that would get lost in translation.
He really likes you, dude.
He really likes
and he
you."
doesn't tell him he needs a 20.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they read him the requirement, and he says like, yeah, I guess you guys can stay. And they're like, oh shit, he invited us in. So they stay. They get tended to. Like, Montezuma's like entourage becomes like their entourage. Everybody's like sort of chilling, hanging out, like sort of like getting to know each other a little bit, but they can't really talk to each other. I think Montezuma gives them like brides as like just being homies. Like that's what he would do with another superpower. He would just give them.
Well, I mean, if you're like
stuff.
the ruler of an area and you have a bunch of slaves, you could just do it.
Yeah. He gave them like gold. He gave them like women. He gave them like servant people. So now like Cortez's entourage is growing. At the same time, they've been preparing for this fucking festival, and this is like gonna be a week long celebration. And they've been preparing for a long time. And traditionally, there is a sacrifice of like the other superpowers people that you went and got.
Yeah, during the scrimmages or like the small wars that were fought, you bring back captives.
Like this is the cousin of the king over there or the lord over there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So people aren't sure. According to Cortez, they attacked first type shit and they defended. But like they were getting antsy and no one's really sure why. Like obviously Cortez needs to hurry because maybe someone's gonna show up and it's all gonna unravel for him. He needs to be quick. He wants to be able to go back to the crown and say like I conquered it. I actually took the big guy down. And there's that. There's also they're preparing for the festival and so all of these things are happening around them and they're just chilling and they're being sus. Now they're like people are eyeing like the armor or something. You know what I'm saying? Or like
they're whispering to each other.
Yeah, they get word like, oh, there's supposed to be victims tonight, and they're like victims. It's like they're victims, and like wait, who are the victims? Like I don't know who the victims are, and they're like, whoa, there's gonna be victims, bro. And then that night is the night of Noche Triste.
Okay,
That's the night that like. They massacre a ton of people, and at the same time
that you were mentioning with the bridge, and spearing through the bottom of it.
Yeah, well, actually, so before that happens, so it's like I think it's a 3-day thing. They take Montezuma, and they hold him captive, and then he dies somewhere along the process. And him dying along the process sort of kicks off the night of Noche Triste. People revolt. They go off, and they have to evacuate. How he dies and when he dies is also contested. According to Cortez, they killed him because he betrayed them. According to Cortez, Moctezuma was like, oh, you are the fucking god, and you can have my whole kingdom. And the people were like, whoa, dude, you sold us out, and they killed him. And so Moctezuma, for a long time in Mexican history, was like viewed as like a traitor. Along with the translator, La Malinche.
People want to translate that for Matt.
La Malinche? I mean, Malinche doesn't really have a thing. It's just like negative connotation.
Okay. But it's like I kind of get it. It's like
malevolent person.
Yeah,
for sure.
It might actually have a translation.
So one question I have: do we know a reason for Cortez being rushed, or feeling like he was being rushed, even by like? The Spanish royalty. Like, is there a given reason that they were like, bro, you gotta fucking... Is it just like a resource thing? Like, oh, we can't stay here forever. We got, we got ships that gotta go back.
The consensus is from the get-go, he knew he was already breaking the law, and he was all in.
Oh,
he was all in. Like,
right.
If he didn't succeed,
he's kind of disobeying orders.
If he didn't succeed, he would have actually broken the law, and he would have gone back at a traitor and hung and stuff like that.
And the only reason why they have to go back is just like a resource thing, and you got to go report back.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah. They wanted to like confirm it, and he was like, "Well, what if I could do one better?"
So
okay.
Process.
Like confirm, the existence of it and everything. And but he wanted to take it.
Right. The crown was like, we could come back, But Cortez was
So it
like, I
wasn't
want to be the guy
necessarily
though.
like
Yeah.
them being like, you got 3 months, and then he was like, oh shit, I got 3 months.
I mean, essentially, he knew how long it would take for them to get there and like to follow
Yeah,
the
yeah.
steps.
Right, so he had that countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he's like, but what if I could just spend a couple more months here and do all this crazy shit and
There is-
come back even cooler?
There is a
think
kind of
it's so
funny
fucking
theory, I
cool.
think, in my opinion. It's kind of funny. It's very macabre, though, that they killed Moctezuma in either a struggle or they executed him. But the theory is that they puppeted his body for a little while in order to call the homies, the Tlaxcalans, to like be sure to be there when they do evacuate.
They
Ah,
fucking what's that
shit.
movie? Fucking
They weekend at
Weekend at
Birmingham.
Bernie's, yeah.
They weekend at Birmingham.
Yeah.
Hey, what up? Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, on the
yeah.
roof of the palace. Yeah,
I was thinking,
that's crazy.
It's insane,
bullet
yeah.
train.
But
doing
also,
bullet train.
it's like so ridiculous that it's like, yeah.
It could be possible. Type
I
of
guess,
shit.
yeah.
They-
I
or
could see it.
that's
I
the
could see
thing.
them
It's
trying.
that was like the reason is I remember now. They accidentally killed them, and now they
so they
need
had
to.
to-
I mean,
puppet
to
them.
me,
had to
what
do that,
what
yeah.
sounds very plausible is, as you said before, just within the past, recent past, they had just gotten very good at torture, right?
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
they're probably torturing this motherfucker, being like, "You're gonna give us all of your kingdom," and he's like,
That
"No,"
too. And he just dies
you
along
know,
the way.
and then he
Yeah.
just dies because
Yeah.
of the torture. You know?
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point.
And then it's like, guys, we didn't. I don't know what happened. I walked into his cell. He's just all beat up. He's all
Yeah,
fucking.
there's
Oh
just-
my god. Oh my
I think he
God.
stabbed himself.
Guys, what if we go puppet him on the roof?
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I know.
I know.
I know exactly what to do.
Like a boardroom meeting.
Yeah.
My God, you're a genius.
No, I was thinking
it
even
smash
worse.
cuts.
I was thinking even worse. It's fucking college students. They just like
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
fuck, dude,
Oh, bro.
like holy shit.
we got too lit.
We got
Oh.
too lit.
I-
Dude, my
I
dad is
know.
gonna fucking kill me. And
Bro,
the king.
bro. Wait, what if we puppet him? Oh, in the roof.
Yeah, bro.
So the other theory is that the people revolted first, and Moctezuma came out and was like, "Oh, you guys need to chill," like you know, and then somebody did fucking get him.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
potentially,
yeah.
but
Right.
who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's levels to like if you believe that the people killed Moctezuma,
Yeah, there's-
like why? Probably not Cortez, like fuck that guy.
Yeah.
The people killed him. Why? He Carly came out and tried to like, hey, chill. Yeah, boom, they got him.
Yeah.
Got his ass.
Yeah.
I guess you could believe Cortez, but that's a fucking weird.
I
Right.
would say that you're very crazy if you believe anything that someone who kind of just like shows up and just like inserts.
He's
themselves
winging it
into
the whole
politics.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
He's winging
Yeah.
it the whole time.
And you know, it's the same thing as like when a serial killer or like a murderer, like not even a serial killer, just like a murderer gets caught on their very first murder. You know, well now you got to come up with whatever you can think of quick enough,
yeah.
and you've got 3 months on the ocean.
Right.
You know,
You know,
Right.
yeah, and that's a lot of time to come up with, and it's not like the fucking King of Spain's gonna come on over and do an investigation over here with the people who don't even speak the same language.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then from there, it's just a
There's
bunch
no
of
way to verify anything that he
From there-
says. So
from there
there's
it's
no
plot
need
armor
to
and-
believe it.
Yeah.
plot armor and a bunch of
But the facts
Eagles.
are that Montezuma was there.
what do they call that?
And then
Ex
he was dead.
machinas.
Ex machina.
Actually, that's what he would
Yeah,
say it
ex
was.
machina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
God. It's God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
also feel like it's super mundane. Like
Yeah.
he let him in
Yeah.
and he's like, oh yeah, thanks, and then like a little bit later just stabbed him
Stabbed
real
him
quick.
real quick.
Yeah.
I got a sharp pointy thing stabbed.
Right. Stabbed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like and he died alone.
And it so what happens after this?
Yeah.
There's a big power vacuum, I would assume, but like
I mean, immediately the Spanish feel it. You know.
Right.
Like, what happens immediately after there is a civil war, for sure.
Yeah.
Tlaxcalans plus
and
the
are
Spanish.
okay, so they are participating
Tlaxcalans
in
plus
this as well.
Spanish
Yeah.
now versus the remnants of the Mexica and
Yeah.
like whoever wants
Whoever
to side
else
with the
is maybe
Mexica.
around.
But at the same
And-
time, the Mexica, they have a lot of enemies.
Yeah, I was gonna
You
say
know what
at
I
this
mean?
point
they have a lot of enemies.
Yeah, they put themselves at the level
Yeah,
that they're
because
at,
you-
by
you-
fucking people over.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's the same thing as
taking over
Julius
their
Caesar.
shit.
You beat up the fucking Senate enough, and
Yeah.
the Senate's gonna get pissed off. And
Yeah.
Right.
So there is
and
a
they're gonna plot to
successor.
kill
Stab
you.
There is a successor,
Multiple times.
Cuauhtemoc, and he's found at some point at somewhere, and I think he does convert on his own, but he freaking leads a rebellion as like
I
now
also
as like
heard of this,
a Christian indigenous monarch, but he does get executed, and his bones are never found.
Yeah.
At one point, the Mexican government claimed that they found him,
Pigs.
but it was a fucking hoax, dude. It's a crazy. That's a different story. Yeah, so there's that guy. But yeah, man. After that, it's like I said, it's a controlling of the narrative of this idea of conquest. But really, what it is, it's resource extraction to the point of it being not beneficial for any of the native inhabitants.
Right.
And that happens through a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Set up before they got there in Spain.
Right.
So now they're just importing their culture over,
Right,
which is
right.
already a very stratified culture for the 3Gs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the indigenous people fit in the same way that Muslim or Jews fit in previously.
Right.
They either get in line and convert, or they get killed.
Right.
A lot of the indigenous people get labeled cannibals just because they were against the Spanish or the Portuguese.
Yeah.
I'm pretty open about my personal life, so I feel pretty comfortable saying that, like, people like my mother, I feel like, don't take those kind of things into consideration. The fact that with the colonial powers just discuss, because in her mind it's just kind of like a thing that just happens. It's fine. There's no big deal with these people from a foreign land just coming in and just being like, we own this now, and it's just because kind of the law of might is right.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the winner dictates the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that a lot of people take into consideration the idea that you just said. They are importing culture. They are not just conquering. They are trying to fully culturally change the people that exist there.
Yeah.
You put that into perspective for anyone any general Joe Schmo who lives in America. You say, okay, do you think that it's okay if another country invaded another country and just like fully pushed their culture onto another people? No, you have a word for that. It's called like cultural cleansing, ethnic cleansing. It's like a changing of the people that are there. It's a displacement of sort.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
there's
that
a lot of that.
is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that, and then also on top of that, the epidemics, the virgin soil epidemic, just completely wiping out people.
Yeah.
The amount of population loss following 1492 is just staggering. Like we're talking, the numbers vary because it's gonna go population, but some people say like fucking like 45%. I think it's one of the low ones. Like 30. I think it's like 35 to 45% is one of the low ones, but some of the high ones are like 80% of the population.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I wouldn't be surprised if it's levels of like the plague. Like the plague levels where there's like 80% of the fucking continent.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Across
for sure.
Europe. Was,
that's a virgin soil epidemic.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened several times back to back. but
Yeah.
They hadn't developed anything for it.
There's
And if
great
you got it, you
videos that
died.
I've watched about how it migrated across various continents. It's documented in China. It's documented in Africa. It's documented in
That's
the Middle
crazy.
East.
And then the other thing that you have to account for regarding population loss is the slave trade as well.
Yes.
There's the African slave trade, but immediately after the indigenous slave trade, they tap right into what's already going on and turn it into a different way of understanding slavery.
So at this point, African slavery is
brutal.
already like kind of
Happening.
this is like a new, but it's like relatively new, right? Within like the past couple 100 years. Or
I think
something.
it takes a little while for African slavery to fully go.
fully
But there
get
was
into
African
here,
slaves being exported into Europe before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was part of that. Like, I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna explore that way. So people were like, "Hey, I'm gonna
Because
go
like
there
I
and
think
pick
that
up some motherfuckers."
It's also part of the understanding
that,
of who's available to be a slave, and
Yeah.
it was cannibals. That was
Right.
the one thing that separated you from other humans was
Right. And
your inhumanity.
brown skin.
Yeah, no, it was you going against them and they labeling you accountable.
Yeah.
And so those people were targeted for slavery. I mean, and then anytime they needed an excuse, it was, they're actually
despicable cannibals. I saw him eat a dude's
It's the
face.
same thing as like the savages thing. Like the savages. They're savages.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things you can do with savages. Like, there's only one thing they do with cannibals.
That's
true. They kill them or they make them slaves.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
And the slavery, from there, it's all resource extraction, and it's also like horrible monoculture, like sugar cultivation is just horrible. Like, it becomes industrialized almost immediately.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of the first industrial processes.
That's probably one of the things that I'm like most familiar with is how quickly like all of those Caribbean islands got turned into sugar plantations.
Yeah, and they find out like pretty fast that the indigenous bodies just don't handle it. Don't handle it, and they start importing African slaves.
Damn.
So why is that? I'm confused. What do you mean they can't handle like the intensive slave labor?
Yeah, their way of living was so efficient. They were all about, I mean, depending on the culture for sure, but they were all about like having a good fucking time.
Yeah.
And if they had to work, like they would work hella fucking quickly, get the shit done. Like the Spanish, a lot of Spanish commentators, as they were like traveling about like into later after Moctezuma's dead, dozens of years later, hundreds of years later, people are traveling, meeting new cultures.
Right.
They're fucking commenting like, these motherfuckers are lazy, bro. They wake up at daybreak and they're done by noon, bro. That's crazy. Who does that? And then they go and chill. They go have sex, dude. Who does that? At noon.
Right.
At noon, bro. Despicable.
Yeah,
and it was like, no, for them,
the general European population who is like Christian predominantly, Catholic, whatever word you want to use, they're gonna, immediately go to pearl clutching. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you whoa, wait, what?
God tells us to till the earth.
Yeah.
And these guys are going to fucking have sex
and they were just, and it was like a different understanding of what to do with the world. You know what I mean? Like for Europeans, it was like extract for accumulation. It was like a proto, not capitalism just yet, but just a proto-capitalism.
But it so quickly got there though because of things like that had already been created, like the East India Trading Company. They immediately were kind of these are companies that literally had private militaries.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Private militaries that could just go.
Crazy.
Oh well, the crown contracted me.
Yeah.
And
the original corpo.
If I'm working under the crown, I got immunity. Yeah.
Do whatever.
Impunity?
Yeah. Impunity.
I think it's impunity when you can do crimes. Yeah. Specifically legal. Yeah.
Which is just crazy, and I don't think that again. Sorry to bring it back to like personal shit, but I feel like my mother would not understand that either. That it was, like you say, resource extraction. It's all about capital gains at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And bringing something back to the global power that you were allied to.
Right.
Whether that's Spain, France, Britain, Dutch.
Right.
Whoever it is, you have a job, and that is to secure as much like trade or material goods, just whatever you can get, bro.
For us to live our little
all the way down
lives
to
over here.
slaves. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean we can get into this next time too, but like so Latin America, it's sort of well known nowadays for it being like a third world place, like very poor, and North America is like a rich place. And the question is like, why, if they were both from like colonial approaches, but the colonial approaches were different. In North America, there was let me start first with Latin America. In Latin America, there was an abundance of resources. Everything was exploitable. Everything was, you just fuck with it a little bit and you get a huge whatever profit yield.
Right.
In North America specifically, Nova Scotia, where it's really fucking cold, like wherever the French were, where the British settled first, like those hella failed colonies back to back.
Yeah,
shit was hard. Shit was hard to live with. They were barely.
Unironically, do you guys want to know one of the biggest pluses for the superpowers that were in the areas of like the Great Lakes and whatnot? It was beavers.
Beavers.
Ah,
Yeah,
Beavers
big
were
beef.
yeah.
the biggest one of the
Yeah,
biggest imports for them
fur
starting out.
trade.
Big
Uh,
beef.
No, the
Fur trade.
tails.
The tails.
Wonderful leather. It's great leather.
That's right.
You make
That's
some
right.
nice hats.
Really
Yeah,
good
you get some
leather.
good
Make some
hats.
nice hats for the ladies
Some
back home.
good shoes.
And
Nice hats
Some
say that really
leather
close to the
shoes.
mic.
I-
Nice hats for the ladies.
Some nice hats for the ladies. Back home.
oh yeah,
for the
For the ladies. Yeah, the
I
fur
brought
trapping.
you a beaver
That's crazy.
tail.
Fur trapping was a big one for a long time, but
Yes,
I mean
yeah.
that was one of very few things that you could tap into.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah. That's
So-
1% of the things that
Yeah.
are
The
profitable at that time.
the understanding from a societal like nugget of the first level of society, your first level in civic understanding was the thing that you're doing is for the societal good, whatever
Yeah.
that may be.
Yeah.
Usually white society,
Right.
Yeah.
right? For that, and that kept going for the whole time. In Latin America, that first nugget of civilization was like accumulate,
Yeah.
accumulate,
Yeah, right.
extract.
Extract.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they fucking depleted the resources.
Yeah.
And
Well, they
Not to
never
mention that-
built. They never built for society. They never
Right,
built for
right.
people to live there and
because they were
strive
all-
there.
It was like this is where we live. That's where we get shit.
Exactly.
From.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
their
And
little
then
playground
in
type
North
deal.
America, they're like, yeah, we fucking live here,
We have to live here, you
and
guys.
we're gonna take care of us.
You
Yes.
guys, we have to fucking live here
White
now.
people.
That's what I was gonna say is just off the rip, like when you said, oh well, what's the difference between North and South America? Like, why aren't they both rich? Kind of question is like it's just the difference between the idea of whiteness.
Mm.
You know, like white culture is in America, in my opinion, is directly tied to like white supremacy. The feeling of like this is our land
That's
and
true.
we can do whatever we want with
That's
it.
true.
Right.
Actually,
You know,
that
and that-
yeah.
That
Yeah,
it
facts.
literally has to do the reason why America is, richer, air quotes, than like South America and whatnot, South American countries, is just that even to this day, North America, the country, is directly affecting those southern countries,
Mm-hmm.
directly disrupting the region politically, economically, because there are still resources to be tapped.
Yeah.
A lot of it oil.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, America is desperately trying to find a way out of the Middle East because it's too far away.
Oh, yeah, it
it's
has been
much
for a long
closer.
time,
It's
yeah.
much closer in South America if we could just go to Argentina and tap their oil.
Or Venezuela,
Or
but
Venezuela,
they don't fuck
or-
with socialism.
Exactly.
So, you reminded me of one very important thing. A big difference is the British colonies. They convinced themselves that there was nobody around, that they needed to people the area, that the
Yes,
area was
yeah.
there to for people to show up.
Yes.
That
Okay.
it was empty
Yes.
of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
you know what I
there's
mean?
there's no other humans that live
Yeah,
here.
and that's
the whole
the
land
difference.
race.
Yes.
That's
The whole
that
land
goes
race.
into what you were saying
Go
about
out
the
there, it's
supremacy.
empty,
Which
bro.
and that kind of mentality follows all the way into the 1800s when you get to like Manifest Destiny.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you need to keep
Yeah.
going. You need
Yeah.
to keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
and it's not even just we need to keep going for the country, but it's for God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's God
God-given
has
right to do
designed
this.
it for us
Mhm.
this way.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, that's all about again, it's all about whiteness. It's all about Western culture, because the people who, even though they separated from white colonies, European colonies, they were still culturally white,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to maybe a more mixed culture that you see happen down in like Mexico and South America.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Right.
It's a replacement theory
I'm in-
versus mixed theory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey.
That's a real thing.
And
Hashtag
I'm
replacement
very
theory.
interested. I assume that this is something that we'll get into in later episodes, but
Totally
like
can.
Incan,
Totally can.
Incan stuff. Oh no,
Oh, yeah.
I was just saying.
Yeah, no, for
But
sure.
yes, that as well. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and going back to one of your points in the very beginning where you said that you hope that we learned something, I definitely did.
yeah.
I don't know if I can like say what I learned.
Honestly,
but that was
surprised with
very,
how many
like,
times I was able to be like, oh, I'm somewhat familiar with this. You know.
There were some things.
Somewhat
there.
familiar.
Yeah. No,
We
that
just
was.
did a podcast, you
Hell
guys.
yeah. Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh,
Is that what we've been doing?
Do I get a plug? Do I get a plug?
Oh yeah.
If I
of
get
course.
one plug,
Yeah.
Plug it.
it's gonna have to be the Highwaymen. You're gonna have to listen
The
to one.
Highwaymen.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay.
listen to the Highwaymen
Right.
by the Highwaymen.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna
The
sing your
Highwaymen.
own music.
Nah,
And you're
that's
like,
it.
no.
That's
Uh,
it, man.
shout out,
White
like,
culture is not all
probably-
bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
If
the
I had to
Highwaymen.
guess, this song is probably like what, 6 years old.
Oh no, brother.
Older?
It's from the. I want to say it's from the 90s.
Oh,
I was gonna
okay.
say like 92.
I was thinking like a newer thing where
Like-
they were
like
like, let's
early
get the band
90s.
together again. You know?
No, man. I
think
mean,
they- I
Johnny
think they were
Cash
old
died.
already.
You know, Johnny Cash
Oh,
died.
right.
I know. Waylon Jennings.
Ding
The other
dong.
ones got back together
Forgot
after
about
he
Johnny
died.
Cash being on there, not gonna lie. Great episode though. I think that was super cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
excited
thank you for
to
having me, you
continue
guys.
more. I am very I'm so into history. I love
Hell
it.
yeah. Yeah,
If
so
there was
the-
anything that I would go into school for, it would probably be that.
85, bro.
85, even older than what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, history is doable from anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and everything is history. So, just get out there and do it. Just be active.
Yeah, so this podcast is called the History Sesh. We will have these episodes every once in a while. I don't think there's like a set schedule.
It's
to when
it's not gonna be as
gathering.
like set schedule, I think, but there's gonna be one that just drops every once in a while. You know,
Yeah,
you'd be like,
yeah.
oh, little treat.
Yeah.
And
It's
honestly,
like if I dropped a
tackled
little
a lot.
cupcake.
We tackled a lot. So next time it'll be a more like contained story.
Uh-huh,
You know what I mean? A person or just an event.
yeah.
This was a big one, gentlemen.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I look forward to the next one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for driving 3
Days.
hours.
Oh.
3 days.
Bro, he traveled 3 days to get here.
Thanks, Dave, for the
By
gas, bro.
Yeah.
True.
Dave gave him $5.
I
every
stretched that mug out.
Well, he actually gave all 3 of us $5, and I was like, I don't really need the $5.
Neither did I. So
Yeah,
we sent
so
it.
we
We
just-
sent it.
I
pitch
needed
that
it
in.
for I stretched it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
3
saying?
days worth.
Yeah.
Of
Mm-hmm.
You make the
Yes.
dollar stretch
I
like
make
elastic.
like elastic. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure. Bones.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
well,
gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining.
We usually say I'm sorry.
I'm
but,
sorry. Yeah.
But I'm not sorry this time.
I'm not sorry. Yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah.
that was actually an effective podcast.
That was great.
Oh.
Yeah. For
All the
sure.
other ones we say I'm sorry because it's not.
Because we're terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Adios.